Hold on. It wasn't, he donated it to a
Yes,
museum.
when he received prime minister that got retired, when he received it by the U.S. ambassador from the State Department on behalf of the astronauts and the U.S. embassy, yes, it was in a plaque with a fucking label
Okay, I
on
just posted a picture. This is literally the rock in the box, free floating with a card. No plaque in there.
Okay, the
This
plaque
is how it got
reads,
donated
with
to
the
the museum.
compliments
Do you
of
think
the
somebody?
ambassador of the United States of America to commemorate the visit to the. Oh, what? So you're saying the guy that received the gift wrote all this? No, it's
There's a
accepted by the
card.
U.S. State Department that they
Let me
made the
tell you
fucking plaque, dude.
Let me tell you what you're looking at. The guy that received that card, he did receive the card from the astronauts. Okay, the rock is unrelated. I don't know where he got the rock from, but his ancestor, his descendant, donated his stuff to a museum, and this is in a box. This is literally the picture of it in the box when it got donated. Do you see how there's no plaque there?
Yeah, that's when it was given to the museum, not when it was given to
Correct.
the man. Okay,
So you're saying this
what
was
is your
in a
point?
plaque
When
when
it
he
was
got
given
it,
to
and then
the
he
man,
took.
it was in a plaque. Dude, there's a fuck. Do you need the picture of it?
I do. When he show me the picture when it got given to him. That's not in the museum after when this picture was taken. Yes, that would be convincing.
All right, after
what
the
point
rock
are you
thing,
trying
I
to
got
make with
three
this?
more things.
What point are you trying to make with this? He made this, or the State
The two
Department
things
made
are
that
unrelated. That's my
write up?
point. There's no evidence that
Okay.
NASA gave him this rock or claimed that it was a moon
Did it
rock.
come?
This is what I've been trying to
Who
say.
wrote
but,
this little
like,
paper? Who wrote on this? With compliments of the United States Embassy. Who wrote that?
Then the little paper definitely 100% came from NASA. The little paper did. I don't dispute that.
Okay. And what do you think this was paired with?
I don't know.
It was what the fuck? You
They
think
they
just gave him a little piece of paper?
They gave out these little piece of papers to multiple people. Did they all get a petrified piece of wood with it?
Okay, what's the compliment? What's the gift? The card is the gift.
No. It came with. Hold on. I know what it came. It came with a little. There's a little. I don't know what you call it, a little piece of plastic.
Piece of wood.
That had no moon rocks in it. No, it wasn't a piece of wood. Here, I got a picture of that.
It was given together. Was it not?
I know. Hold on. I'm gonna post a picture of it.
Oh, you're just wasting time.
I'm not wasting time. I'm not wasting time.
You are so full of shit right now.
Nope, I'm not. This is what it was. Do you see the picture I just posted in chat?
Was there a rest of the list, or did I hallucinate, or did someone not say there was a rest of a list? Or are we just going to stay on the rock?
Just let him finish his point.
We can come back to this one later. I'm
now.
lodging my complete disagreement that you guys absolutely misrepresented this one. But let's go to the next one. This is what they got.
Well, instead of going one by one, can we just do the whole list, and then you can cherry pick out whichever one you think is the weakest? Okay, the first one is the Challenger disaster, the suppressed warnings. Engineers at Morton Thickle, the contractor for the rocket boosters, explicitly warned NASA management not to launch because the cold temperatures would cause the O-rings to fail. So NASA didn't care, and they just went ahead and killed those people. But nobody died in that, just so everyone knows. We also have the Columbia disaster. It was a repeat, the same idea that led to the Challenger, with several instances of management blocking information. While the shuttle was still in orbit, lower-level engineers suspected the wing had been damaged by foam at launch. They requested that NASA ask the Department of Defense to use spy satellites to take photos of the wing. Management denied these requests multiple times, believing nothing could be done anyway. And then we have Mars Climate Orbiter. It was a failure to communicate across teams. For some reason, it seems there's this repeating thing that NASA doesn't want to communicate to the different departments some of the issues, sometimes because they're on time constraints and things. So there's three of them right there that I believe show a leaving out of information. So that's how I'll define lying for this. It would be basically that they're leaving, like withholding information. So that's what lying is in this scenario. Compartmentalization.
Wait, lying by omission?
I'm saying I'm defining lying as withholding information, and I put forth these three cases as lies, blatant lies, by that definition.
Would you call God a liar then?
Dude, what are you doing?
I just don't
Do you
think
want
he
to
actually
respond to the challenge? Do you want to respond to any of
I'm
the stuff
refuting.
that I...
Yeah, I'm refuting your definition of what lying is.
So withholding information is not considered lying by anyone's standard.
According to you, I would say yes. According to you, I would say that's true.
Dude, that'd be impossible because according to me, I defined lying for this argument as withholding information.
So then you would agree that God's a liar.
For this, God, I didn't even mention God or anything about God in this argument. So
I
can you
just want to know.
just
I just want to
imagine
know
I'm
if
an
your
atheist.
definition holds.
For this
Nope.
argument, I'm an
Nope.
atheist, okay? Just
Nope.
take that.
I wanna see if definition holds.
Yeah, I'm arguing from the atheistic worldview. I can only know things to the extent
So
that
your
I could be
definition
wrong
doesn't
about them.
hold. Okay. So you're a
Dude,
liar.
you're
Well, dude,
trolling right now.
so you don't want a definition.
all
You don't want
morning.
to agree on a definition so we can
We
move
just
on. You
picked
just want to argue it.
I'm
Or
not
was asked
agreeing
for
with your definition.
examples of NASA lying. Do you remember that part? So he
Yeah,
gave
I'm just
examples, and so you
no.
said, "Oh, by that definition, is God a liar?" That has nothing to do with refuting what he said. Can we just stick
I'm
to the topic?
refuting his definition of what a liar is.
Dude, so you disagree that when I say withholding information is lying, you say that's not what I think, right?
Yes, I don't believe that's what
Okay,
you think
so how do you know what I think if I'm telling you what I think?
because I don't think you think that God is a liar.
But dude, I'm an atheist. Do you remember? God doesn't exist.
No, you're not. So you're
All
a
right,
liar.
yeah.
I'll engage with you on
Dude,
the
for the
evidence.
purpose of this
Let's go back to-
conversation, he's taking the position of an atheist. So what he believes is irrelevant to the information he's positing. So what you're doing is a genetic fallacy. You're saying because you believe in God, we have to go off on all this other stuff. Okay, then let's throw out Einstein. Let's throw out NASA because they're meth head Nazis.
Well,
Like, just stop what you're doing and
in the
address
very
the
beginning,
point.
I
I'm
literally
about to
said
finish.
I
I'm
don't
about to finish
include
what I was
lying by omission.
Dude, this is all day you've been doing this. So
Well,
address
in the
the
very
point that he
beginning, you
made.
should remember me
Stop.
saying
Well, I
that I
think he's
said I'm not
scared. I
including
think you're
lying by
scared,
omission.
flat earthers are silly. You're
I'm
obviously
not
scared
scared.
to address the 3 points, so that's why you have to find a problem with the definition, because I think everyone could get on board with the idea of withholding information that leads to the death of people is most certainly dangerous and nefarious and could be put in the category of lying. That challenger teacher died because NASA lied.
Okay, hold on. They definitely. What happened was there was a risk. I think you're right on both the. I don't know about the Mars one, but the Challenger and the Columbia shuttle, the Challenger one for sure. They were warned about it, and they decided to incur the risk anyway. I don't think that's a lie. It's terrible. It's a bad decision, but it's not. I wouldn't consider that a lie.
So NASA makes bad decisions that leads to the death of people.
They have made bad decisions that led to the death of people. Yep.
Okay, and then but you're
That's
saying
negligence, not lying.
this is the people that I'm going to trust, the people that make bad decisions. Is that
When
correct?
was the last time you were negligent when you made a mistake?
That's called a tu quoque fallacy, sir. I am not a huge government agency that's getting $60 million a day. I'd probably make very rare amounts of mistakes.
That is not a good answer to my question. When was the last time you made a simple, honest mistake?
Excuse me, sir. That is called an ad hominem fallacy. Tu quoque.
That is
not analogous, and I'm showing you how it's not analogous.
That is you dodging the question.
I think he's trying to draw an analogy, and you're not letting him finish.
It's not analogous, bro, because it's a reification as well, because you're treating NASA as an individual when it's not.
There are people, and who made the corporation didn't make the decision. An individual did. At the end of it was often one individual who did. Call me Hypnotoad.
Hang on, the corporation
Just call me Hypnotoad.
as the group did make that decision. They had a conference call about it. That was already established.
The Battle of the Frogs.
Well,
the night before the Challenger, they had a conference call about the O-ring flaws. So yes, they did.
And the reason they lied was because they wanted to stick to their
they made an honest mistake.
Okay, so now you're changing.
It's quite simple.
Now you're changing what you said, because before what you said, you're asking him if he ever made an honest mistake. And
because
also, according to them, they didn't make an honest. Hang on. According to them, they didn't make an honest mistake. According to them, it was a known risk that they took anyway. That's not an honest mistake.
They took a known risk.
Calculated risks are still a mistake.
Obviously, NASA would say they made a mistake after what happened. I don't think anyone would deny the fact that NASA would say that.
Okay, cool. So in order to make a mistake, you have to lie.
Nobody in NASA hid this.
That's not how that works.
Yep, that's how it works.
No.
Okay, so
in order to make a mistake,
you were lying by responding to my points with, no, that's a fallacy. That was you lying.
That's not me lying. You literally did a tu quoque fallacy, which is an ad hominem attack, because you're making your argument to the man rather than at the argument.
No, I was not attacking you as an individual.
Yes,
I was attacking.
Yes, you did.
I was attacking.
Dude, you asked me specifically. You said,
get to tell me what my intentions are.
Yeah, it's like the Catholic leaders did with the rape cases in Boston.
Okay, dude, that's fine. So you're admitting that NASA lies. You're admitting NASA does lie, especially about things.
I don't have to agree with you on that, but you just agreed to.
By omission, like I wouldn't consider that count.
Genetic fallacy, dude. We don't do that. We don't do that here.
How many people lied as part of the Challenger? You just said more than one person. How many people downplayed this incident?
They had an entire conference the night before about the O-ring issue. They've had several shuttles where they've had the O-ring issue before.
Management essentially, dude, check it out. This is what it says in the NASA page. NASA.gov says management, that's a group of people, just so you know, essentially pressured engineers to take off their engineering hats and think like managers to stay on schedule, effectively ignoring the safety data. That's convex and flat at the same time. So we can rule out globe right there, because you agree the Earth is flat in front of you, right?
Light could behave in an apparent way due to God's interventions, and by means we don't yet understand, right? I mean, you say celestials are unknowable.
I'm saying your experience of the Earth is that plumbs are parallel. That's how you experience it, right?
I've never hung a plumb in my life, so mine isn't.
Well, imagine, do you have a fence around your yard?
I do. Somebody else installed it.
Yeah, do you imagine those posts being parallel to one another?
Now my yard's a big hill, so they actually aren't. But I get your drift.
Okay, yeah. No, yeah, on a hill. That is interesting, on a hill. If I was on a hill and then I drop a plumb, is that pointing to the center of the Earth still?
Pointing down.
Technically no, because the gravity of the hill itself is going to affect the plumb. Like you can go up, you can stand off a mountain and hold a plumb, and it'll point slightly towards the mountain.
Yeah, I've heard of that, but also there's another effect because the Earth is spinning, that anytime you're going to drop like a plumb, obviously it's going to swing out a tiny amount as well. Not saying it's going to be noticeable. So there's two factors there that keep you from knowing plumb is pointing to the center of the Earth. So now plumb is curving. You understand that?
But it's so slight that it's pretty negligible. Like you're not going to get the exact dead full-on center, but you will get extremely close enough for government work.
Well, I mean, it would need to be straight in order for you to know that, right?
It would be what?
How would you know if it's negligible enough? You can't measure it. It's just.
I mean, we can measure it because we if we know our latitude, we can detect we can know exactly how much the Earth would be spinning from that latitude. So that can be calculated into our math.
Yeah, but if you never had a straight line,
the pendulum experiments, that's how they work. you set you have the thing on a string. You have it set up to magnets. Then you have another string connecting it to an object. Then you burn the string, and the pendulum will swing. And you have it leave marks on paper. Now, if you wait for an hour, you'll see the pendulum start to drift.
Yeah, they don't.
After that's been done, after that's been done, after an hour, you can go and check it, see how much it's drifted, and then do math. Use that to roughly calculate your latitude.
Yeah, you have to set it up. And if you don't get your latitude, then you got to reset it up and try again, right? Until you do.
No, you don't. It's not like that. It just has. All you have to do is make sure you get it working enough to where it does what it's supposed to do. It leaves the marks on the paper. It swings. It actually swings and will continue to swing. That's really all you need to get it to work. Because if you don't get your latitude, there's a chance you didn't do the math correctly.
Why, when they set
everyone
that up
who everyone who has a physics degree has actually done that experiment.
Yeah, I have a full call pendulum in my town. Yeah, I have a full call pendulum in my town that I visit regularly to just make sure they got it going right. And I've talked to them and I've showed them that in an hour it didn't process the amount that it's supposed to for my latitude. And they said, that thing's such a pain in the butt to set up, man. That's what they said.
Yeah, I tried to do it. Didn't work.
But I'm talking about a big one, that has like the ball on top, like with the magnets in it. It's like a pendulum that goes like that one you're talking about, like swinging for an hour. I don't know what size string you're talking about using that you expect it to swing for an hour. But they tried that in Antarctica, and they had us reset it 3 times before they actually got what they were looking for. So I'm claiming it's
within a
Texas.
toleration.
Yeah, because that's normal.
They didn't even
like,
get it dead on then. It was within a toleration of error.
Yeah, because it's something like that is going to be extremely difficult to set up. But once you get it working, then you can have good data to work off of.
Well, the craziest part about the Antarctica one is they said they weren't allowed to bring a lighter to burn the string. But then we had guys from this room go down to Antarctica. And not to say they were doing this, but there was a room for smoking down there. So I don't know why those guys couldn't bring a lighter, but all the dudes
they can bring matches or just any other way to make fire. Flint and steel.
Yeah, you would think, right? Yeah, you would think they would bring that, but they didn't. They couldn't. They weren't allowed. That's why it was so hard for them to set it up right. It's a pretty interesting
that doesn't disprove the pendulum itself.
The rules are that strict, then how do you bring a vape down there?
Dude, that's what I was wondering. But they say that ALE has like a whole other contract that they're allowed to bring all kinds of stuff.
ALE? What is that? Is that fucking...
That's a tour guide.
Duffy has some sort of pull, basically, internationally, with international treaties.
The organization he went with, not Duffy himself, but like the organization they hired to take them down there.
We didn't hire them. It was like they paid to go on a vacation with that company, basically.
Yeah, I mean, like if I went to Italy,
certain organizations have different contracts with the international treaty, with whatever bodies are regulating the international treaties. Different groups have different sets of rules for when they go down there. It's kind of strange, is it not?
I thought so.
Not really. Like, that's like the government having contracts with a bunch of different businesses. Like, they're all going to be different depending on what exactly they're going to do for the government, right? Some are military contractors, some do other kinds of work. You get the gist.
Guys, for the guys that went down to do the full call pendulum, that was a government operation. The ALE thing was just like some dudes wanting to watch us on, no government or anything.
Just as like it's that strict that you can't even bring enough lighter fluid to fit inside of a Bic. that's how strict they are in Antarctica. Yet McToon was like hand waving in Arctic treaty like things when he was talking. Like, oh no, you can just do whatever you want when you're down there. It's like just kind of weird. On one side, they're literally regulating down to like, what is that? Like the fucking gram of how much lighter food you can bring. And in another sense, McToon's saying you could just do whatever. Like, it's just, I find that kind of strange.
I threw the article in the chat for you guys if you want to read it. I'll try to find where it says. It says, it was difficult to make the pendulum swing in a plane instead of an ellipse. After several attempts with various techniques of holding the bob and dropping it, we always got some kind of ellipse instead of a plane. This adds to our error because it's more difficult to locate and mark the pendulum's arc's apex. A way to do it is to suspend the bob by tying it off with a piece of string and letting it settle, then burn through the string. The bob would then drop without any outside force and swing in a plane. Since it is against the Antarctica Treaty to have any open flames at the South Pole, we could not do this. Crazy, right?
No open flame? Dude, yeah, that's wild. I don't know, McToon's doing a bad job of representing, dude. Whenever I talk to him, the rhetoric is he could just do whatever the fuck he wants, basically, when he's down there.
Nobody's ever addressed this article before. I've brought this up a couple times. It always gets pushed away.
Now, isn't this part of... Can't you actually go on the line and read the treaty itself, find out where it says that, see all the other rules? Have you ever actually read it?
I haven't read the entire Antarctic Treaty. But, I mean, these guys are from the University of Washington, York University, Sonoma State University. I don't have any reason to doubt these gentlemen, do I? Unless we should be doubting NASA. We might want to be doubting NASA because of this the kind of stuff we're getting from just regular people. Yikes. I like the full call pendulum, though. Do you think that's an empirical experiment?
I mean, why wouldn't it be? I mean, assuming you can get it set up really well, get it set up to work, then yeah, anyone can do it if they put in enough time and effort into making it work.
Okay, do you agree that empirical evidence refers to evidence gathered through direct observation or experimentation rather than relying on theory or speculation?
I think it's
I believe that is the definition.
Okay, do you agree that in scientific experimentation you must have independent variable, the thing you change, the cause, and a dependent variable, the thing you measure, the effect?
If I'm not mistaken, that is correct.
Okay, do you agree the Foucault pendulum makes the claim that the cause is due to Earth rotation? Why it precesses?
Yes.
Okay,
that is why it. I mean, just think about it for a moment. You know.
I don't know. Dude, let me finish up this cross exam real quick with you. Okay, so you agree that the
trap, just so you know, he's setting a trap.
The cause is the independent variable,
I'm aware.
which is the cause is the independent variable, which is the thing you change, right?
That doesn't sound right.
You just agreed to a second ago when I asked you, do you agree that in scientific experimentation, you must have independent variable, the thing you change, the cause, and dependent variable, the thing you measure, the effect? And you said, yep.
Now I'm getting to why exactly the thing works.
Is it just think about
rotation? Is the cause of the pendulum's drift the rotation of the Earth?
Yes.
That's why it appears to drift.
Yeah, it's not actually.
In reality, it really isn't drifting. It's the entire Earth that's drifting. The pendulum is still moving exactly as it was when the experiment started.
Okay, cool. So yeah, the independent variable then is Earth rotation. How are you manipulating that?
We're not manipulating anything. It's what we're observing.
Okay, so you would say so this is not an empirical.
Because the because the pendulum is set to just continuously swing, and it just isn't moving at all, but you can see it drift.
Yeah, what if pendulums
that means the pendulum itself isn't. That means the pendulum itself technically isn't drifting. It's the entire Earth that's drifted around it.
Okay, if you
So
don't.
it sounds like you got an observation, not an experiment.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. So if you don't change the independent variable yourself, you're only observing a correlation, not testing causation. Manipulating the cause allows you to control for other variables and see if your change actually produces an effect. You agree with that?
It is a point that everyone must consider, yes, and it is true about the variable of the rotating the Earth. Likewise, this also mirrors for a level stationary Earth. Not trying to eliminate anything here, just saying. If the claims it
doesn't because of the equator.
If the claim,
hold on, you interrupted him, man. Let him finish.
If the claim is that the Earth's stationary, and one can use Torah's same argument, will show me, the change of your stationariness. Add some rotation to your world there, so you could be sure. It's like, that's all. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah, no, I hear you. I would take the toroidal field, the magnetic field. So I would probably just make the claim pendulums precess, period. That would be my claim.
Okay, except magnetism has nothing to do with, why the pendulum could be swinging. Not to mention that the experiment can be repeated in the equator or the South Pole, and the results will be completely different. You'll have a different level of drift that corresponds with your distance away from the equator.
That's the right answer.
Hold on, man. I'm waiting to get in, bro. Waiting to get in patiently. Earth rotation has nothing to do with the pendulum. We can just say that.
Okay, that's a lie.
Any science? You don't have any science backing it up. It's not a lie.
Yes, we do. Yes, we do.
Effect. We just went over it, and you said you had an observation. We just went over it.
And it has been scientific. I forget exactly what was done, but the possibility of it being anything other than the Earth's rotation was eliminated.
Okay, this is the problem.
While this experimentation was
you're not a flat
happening.
earther if you agree, though. Just relax.
Yeah, it's okay.
Yeah,
we're not making you into a flat earther by agreeing to this. It's just the first question I said, do you agree that empirical evidence refers to evidence gathered through direct observation or experimentation rather than relying on theory or speculation? You said yes. So in a scientific experiment, you have to have the independent variable, the thing that's the cause, and you have to manipulate that to get the different effects. So what I'm just pointing out here is this Foucault pendulum thing is a correlation that you're theory crafting on. You're using theory and speculation to come up with your end result by saying the Earth is spinning. I theorize the Earth is spinning, and therefore that's why this thing is doing it. You don't know, though, because you can't stop the Earth from spinning to check. And I know you keep bringing up the equator, but we don't have any demonstrations of the Foucault pendulum on the equator not precessing. We have actually every demonstration we have of a pendulum is that it precesses, which is my claim. Pendulums precess, period.
I mean, it wouldn't take much to look it up and see if this experiment has been done on the equator to see what happens.
It actually hasn't, that anyone's aware of. We've talked to everyone in this entire community. We've scoured everywhere. There's actually, as far as we know, there's really no demonstration. However, I would suspect it would not precess because you get clockwise and counterclockwise, respectively, in the north and south, and then the stars to go clockwise and counterclockwise, and the stars go straight at the equator. So I would actually expect it likely not to precess at the equator, but that is in contention. And if you can find any documentation of it, please let us know. I mean, every single person in this entire community, globe earthers, everyone, and no one has ever come up with any documentation of it, or like a video, or like any direct, either. But either way, like with that, if you want to respond to that, but also I was going to say, like, would you agree with this statement? Because a lot of globe earthers who are like more advanced in these discussions will admit this. They'll say the Foucault's pendulum is. Like many of them will, like when we really get to the nitty gritty, they'll say that it's not necessarily proof but they'll say that it's evidence that supports or points towards the globe theory or the globe model. So, meaning it's not really like proof of rotation, but it's evidence that indicates or points to it, or it could fit to it. And then they say, well, yeah, it's not really proof on its own when you add all these other things in, and then they'll bring other things in, and they'll just say that it supports it. So would you agree with that?
That it's only supporting evidence? Yes.
Yeah,
but that's not even the that's not even the best proof of the that's not even the best proof of the that's not even the really the best proof of the globe compared to everything else though. But it is an easy thing to bring up that it, is science, it's verifiable, so.
But no, there's no actual science for this. Yeah, there's no actual science for this. We just went through it. All you have is an observation. That's it. You don't have any science. You just have an observation.
We have the observation. We have the prediction that this is what will happen. It's what we see happening, and then we can use math to verify your latitude relative to the equator.
That is,
it's affirming the consequent.
That isn't affirming the consequent, unfortunately, which is a formological fallacy, the way you're putting that argument. But also to what Gio was saying, Gio, I do find that interesting. When I look down at that pendulum, it precesses in the north where I am in a clockwise direction. Now, if I put myself underneath it, it would be precessing counterclockwise to my parent position. Is that what the stars are doing in the north too? Counterclockwise, is that right?
Because you're underneath them, yeah.
Yeah, right. So that does kind of make I see what you're saying, because I was always like, well, it's processing the opposite way, but that's because I'm on top of it looking down, right?
Right. It does the same thing the stars do. Yeah.
Yeah. Cool. Good observation.
All right. So you're saying that clockwise and counterclockwise are different below the equator?
Everything's traveling east to west.
May I give a third option? I argue that actually all pendulums precess, and given the weight distribution of the object at the end of the string, you can make it either precess clockwise or counterclockwise at whichever rate you want. So essentially, you just balance the string and weight multiple times until you get the right distribution. And from hence on, it's just cherry picking, like an engineering your own result.
Yeah, but is that just a theory? Like, have you ever used one or tested it, or is that just a theory?
Yes, yeah, I've literally built my own pendulum, dude, and it will do wild shit, dude. You can vary. Huh?
Is Wesley? Who's that? Hot mic? Is someone hot micing, or is he trying to?
Sorry, me. Bad. My bad. Sorry.
All right. What'd you build a pendulum out of? How did you do it?
A string and like a ring, like a ring weight, like those things you put on the top of a barbell on the side, like a weight, like a ring weight
that holds the weights on, like that metal thing.
No, the ring, like the weight, the thing that I used as the weight at the bottom was like a ring of metal.
I got it. Okay, like a weight that you would add. Okay,
a ring of metal. Yes, a ring of metal. Not quite a weight, but basically the closest thing I can describe to it is a ring of metal, like a big washer, like a big washer.
Yeah. How long was the string?
Maybe around 8 to 10 feet, something between there.
I don't know if that's really tall. I mean, generally they have to be, I think, taller than that. But I'm not going to say that that's. I mean, if it was like 3 feet, I would be like, yeah, that's.
I'm just saying, when I did it, it gave different processions each time I did it. Like literally, it was giving me different processions each time I did it. And what I think is that basically, if you can get the distribution right, you can have it process the same way each time, however you want it to process. And that the whole thing is a cherry picking exercise in cherry picking and engineering the thing you're cherry picking to do what you want.
Yeah, but the claim is
if everyone was doing that, it would be obvious if literally everyone is doing that instead of being honest and having it go straight directly. I mean, what you're trying to say here sounds like everyone is manipulating, has been manipulating it the entire time.
That's a straw man.
That's what it sounds like to me.
No, do you know about the Milgram experiment?
Enlighten me.
Basically, they hold a red card up in the center of the room, and everyone says, that's a yellow card. And then the last guy who's not an actor says, oh, that's a yellow card too, even though it's a red card. And they've done this over and over again, that people's perception of reality is distorted by the group around them. So if you're a kid in university building up Foucault's pendulum, and you build it up, and it doesn't process the right way, the first 5 times you do it, and on the 6th time, after tweaking it, the teacher finally gets it to process in the correct way, because of the group environment, because of the set and setting, because everyone sat there to learn about how it processes at this angle on this certain latitude, everyone's going to accept the 6th one and forget about the first 5. They're going to cherry pick it unconsciously, essentially.
No, because all those other times it wasn't working in any correct way. It just wasn't working right.
Yeah, I wouldn't go with that.
You're actually an exact demonstration of what I just described.
Hey, Noah, what I was going to say, I was trying to get in. What I was going to ask you is, okay, so you know how like they calculate like the sine of the latitude and so on the cosine, and so at different latitudes, north or south, you know, you'll get a different precession is the claim. So let's say you were at like 34 degrees north or something. That's a very specific type of precession to get the one for 34, you know, like meaning, you know, if you're at 34 degrees, let's say, even if you say all through 90, let's just say there's 90 choices, there's 90 options of types of precession. And if you're at 34, if you're saying it's all just random, you know, how many times would you have to do it to get the 34? You know what I mean? Because you're going to get 52, and then you'll get 7, and then you'll get 86, and then you'll get 71. You know what I mean? To land on 34. But people get their latitude, you know, if it's a good setup with all the, you know, the equipment, because it is very sensitive.
And that's where the trick is hidden, in the quote unquote setup.
Well, it's plus or minus 5 degrees.
It's not that you're cherry picking. It's not that you're cherry picking randomly. It's that each time you get it, you set up you do the setup a little bit different. You tweak it a little bit different to engineer the result. So that at the end, it's more. It's not even really a cherry pick. It's more engineered result. Actually, maybe using the cherry picking is wrong. You do have to cherry pick the final engineered result over all the previous ones in which you didn't tweak it exactly to make it give you what you wanted it. But I mean, yeah. So it's like an engineered cherry pick, kind of.
Okay. So would you? What would it take to prove you wrong? Hold on, bro. What would it take to prove you wrong? If you jump in and 2 people jump in, sometimes we got to step back. You know, we can't always just bulldoze through. We all have to do it sometimes. But so just real quick, Noah. So would you say that your theory here would be proven wrong if you had like a Foucault's pendulum that was like really good quality and all that, and then if you yourself traveled to different latitudes and you consistently got the result of those latitudes, would you say, okay, this is a phenomenon at that point? Well, like, would that be enough evidence?
Yes. Yeah, I think that would be. Yeah, if you do something where you set it up and the first time it gave you the right answer, wherever you went, that would be a good example. But that's just not what they do. So.
Well, and it's also plus or minus 5 degrees. I think it can be off by. From what my research of the accuracy on it. So that's it's pretty big in their model, you know, if you think 60.
I mean, that's just a margin for error, though. There's a lot of scientific experiments where things are just going to be off by a little bit, and it doesn't really disprove anything.
5 degrees is a lot. That's like 300 nautical miles that you're off by.
Are you saying 5 north and 5 south, 10 total, or 5?
They say it's like a plus or minus 5 degree accuracy level when you use a Foucault pendulum.
What is the exact number, though? Let's verify that.
It depends.
Look it up.
It depends on how much you invest in the materials. You can get it a lot more accurate than that, but obviously, the more strict your materials are, the heavier the ball is. The lighter your string is and the less interference you have, you're going to get closer.
I'm talking about the big one.
I've heard different.
Not to mention the errors in the actual, measurement and calculation of the drift.
Yeah, there's different claims though of the accuracy. Like, I mean, this one here is saying a fraction of a degree, so within 1 degree. So yeah, there are different claims of. You were saying 5. This one's saying within a degree. But I was gonna say too, Noah, even if you tested it thoroughly and you found that it did, but I mean, that doesn't. I mean, to you though, you wouldn't necessarily conclude, oh, that means Earth's rotation. But would you conclude, okay, there's something causing this? So yeah, their one explanation is Earth rotation, or
I would concede that there's some sort of relation between the heavens and the Earth. Even that thing that's being proven.
Hold on, dude. Can you start over? The channel reset, and then I think you cut out. Can you start over? You said you would agree.
I would agree with you, Gio. That would mean I would have to concede there's some sort of a relation between the heavens and the Earth and rotating objects on the Earth. Yeah, and latitudes, which latitude you're at. I would concede that, but I would not just automatically grant them that. This isn't just we're going to grant them things and then try to debate giving them things that they haven't actually proven yet. It's we're going to hold their feet to the fire for every step of the process, especially these unscientific, unverified ones.
No, I hear you. But I mean, there's also Coriolis effect, with the storms and so on. There's also like the preferred direction of light.
Wait. That's the storm thing is like a non sequitur, and also is the light. Storms and light
the Coriolis effect is related. It's a related phenomenon. The pendulum drifts and the Coriolis force both exist as a result of the rotation of the Earth.
Dude. Okay, I'm gonna back out because this guy doesn't understand that he has not actually even proved the first thing. So then to just breeze past it and then assert that it's already been proven, and then now to assert a random other thing. I'm just gonna back out, but I'm gonna say storms, light, and swinging objects, swinging masses are all three non sequiturs to each other.
Well, okay, but I mean, if let's say, okay, so we have clockwise and counterclockwise star rotations. The claim with this Foucault's pendulum, I know that they're trying to use it to claim Earth rotation, but we can be on a stationary planar Earth with a spherical ether. Now, I'm not necessarily asserting the ether is a sphere, but I'm saying the ether could function in a spherical fashion. I actually think it's toroidal and it's a vortex nature and so on. But I don't want to just say sphere as if it's like, because that's a bigger question. Like, what is the actual shape of ether? Like, cause it's like a whole medium and so on. But nonetheless, like, if you have a toroidal spherical vortex nature to what the ether is at its base, and then if you have the higher levels of the ether in the sky, as they used to call it quintessence, that term, which is like the higher altitudes of ether, and then you have the stars and everything, which are doing the clockwise and counterclockwise, and then if that in some way is translated throughout the whole medium or throughout the whole realm, and if that translation has a kind of spherical nature to it, then you could get all of these effects, like the Foucault's pendulum, the weight change with latitude, the Coriolis effect in terms of clouds, in terms of weather patterns and their rotations in the north and south. So I'm just saying they could all be connected through that whole field. It's like two major vortices, and then we see the 24-hour sun.
Yeah, Gio.
24-hour suns, a two-star rotation.
I'm not denying that it could be or could not be the aether field. I'm not even denying, as for the sake of this argument, I'm not even denying that it could be the Earth rotating or not rotating. I'm just saying the whole Foucault's pendulum thing has not been proven whatsoever. The whole thing is a hoax, a psyop. That it's literally just an engineered result.
Not to your satisfaction, you're saying?
Not to my satisfaction, and not to any... I don't think anyone who's skeptical is satisfaction.
I mean, it hasn't really been done at all latitudes. That's one thing. Like, as far, it's done like sporadically. And then it's never been done at the equator that we're aware of. And then the poles. So there is a lot of missing data, but I would say there's a good amount of evidence that it does precess at the latitudes and so on. But I mean, we don't have to debate it all, but I mean, yeah, go ahead. I mean, doing it ourselves versus what other people document, but yeah, go ahead.
No, I'm totally with you. I think SE always brings this point up. I like the idea of two of them next to each other, just to make sure. Because I do think there's something going on. It does seem to correlate. But the tough part is if you don't do it at every latitude and you just extrapolate out that this would happen in this direction, the more this way you go, it's like an extrapolation fallacy, or as I like to call it regularly, is a fallacy of composition. Because I've measured it doing something in two parts, therefore I can claim to the whole. That's the tough part for me to get over.
How many latitudes do they need to do it at to satisfy you?
All of them. If you want to claim anything about an electron, you have to observe every single electron in the entire universe. That's how science works.
No, that is absolutely not how science works. But that was
that's exactly how it works.
Nope.
That sounds like a straw man to me.
It is.
Well, it gets down to scaling. I mean, Wes, I would say like if you were to go 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, I mean, that would be a good foundation every 5 degrees, I would say,
Okay. And that's a good answer.
How would you say right now? Does it make
I mean, every degree would be cool too, but I mean, I'm just saying like if we were going to do it as like a preliminary, like get a team together and do it without going to every single degree, like, yeah, doing every 5 north and south and at the equator. Be good to have.
I mean, so if you're saying every whole number, then that's fine. But there are infinite number of latitude lines too. So we just got to remember when we say stuff like that.
You can't do it. You can't. You ask a question that can't be done though. Like you can't do it at 90. You can't do it at 85. Probably can't do it at 80. There's 3 right there.
Why not?
What are you going to put it on?
Yeah, that's a great question. I mean, are you talking about north or south?
North. Yeah, dude, my biggest thing I want to know is just like what the amount of miles is between 90 and 89 north. I just want to know.
That.
So on the globe model, we can. I don't remember the exact number of the Earth's circumference, but if you divide that entire number by 360, you get 69.1 bunch of other numbers. So you can just safely claim that 1 degree of the Earth stretches out over 69 miles.
Yeah, if it's a perfect sphere, right?
I mean, it isn't a perfect sphere. Like you have to take two measurements. One, you have to take the circumference at the equator, and one at the going from north to south. They are going to be slightly off, but I've done the math on both, and it's both 69 point and then a bunch of other numbers. So
you ever measured it yourself? You ever gone?
I mean, we don't have to measure it ourselves. We can use math to determine exactly what it is. That's how we know the circumference is through math. You don't have to actually, get out something and measure it.
Yeah, no, I understand that.
We don't like that.
Yeah, we're looking for like if I were like say I'm at 27 degrees north latitude, which I am by the way. And now I just want to drive 69 miles in my car. I took an angle measurement when I started, and now I'm just going to drive 69 miles, take another angle measurement. You think I'm going to be off by a degree? Have you ever done that?
Obviously not, but that would be quite fun. I mean, obviously you're not going to get it. You'd have to, make sure you're exactly, 69 point whatever miles away.
Yeah, you like it? We call it 69ing the globe. It'd be fun, right? Let's 69 the globe together.
It'd be interesting to have a research team.
Shout out to Ben.
Find out how many.
It's hard to hear you.
Red Cloud, you're botting.
Yeah, shout out to Bev for that.
69ing the globe.
Yeah, that's Bev's thing.
Yeah.
I think it's a great concept. I mean, if all of us did that together, the pushback I get is, how do I know I traveled 69 miles? So if we can't know that, man,
you can use a GPS for one thing, or
No, these
You
guys.
could use your odometer on your car. Yeah, that kind of works as long as
These guys don't
you're
believe in
you're going
GPS.
straight enough.
Yeah, I think I could do it. Here in Florida, 95 is pretty darn straight. But I got A1A, which is even kind of straighter. But it does, Florida, the whole state kind of kicks in at an angle. So I don't know.
I mean, you could go out in the woods, do a whole camping trip. Make sure you're always going exactly, pretty straight north, and then just over the course of days or whatever, walk 69 miles.
You know what's pretty awesome? If we all put aside like all the debating and when the egos get going and all the kind of back and forth, which is also fun and kind of intellectually sparring and trying to get to the bottom. And I mean, some people also feel like they want to defend their viewpoint or their worldview. Obviously, there's also the feeling that of course, I think we would all agree that if we're being lied to, even if you believe in the globe now, but you would probably agree, even if you believe in the globe, that if we're being lied to, that's very, very significant in terms of truth and science and all of that. Even though it may be outside of your realm, outside of some people's realms of considering, like, is it actually the case that we're being lied to in this way and that the Earth's not a globe? But even if you set all that aside, there are so many like fun tests that really haven't been done. I mean, we have like earth scientists and PhDs. There's even people, there's PhDs on the server who have PhDs in geophysics and so on, and in the community, and who have had discussions and all these things. So, but even they there's so many things that even they haven't done, which is just wild.
Yeah, how many people have tried to draw a straight line on a wall that is both straight
Rob's
and
gonna be the first.
I will.
I mean, it's easy. All you need is a ruler.
There's just so many categories. Like we were talking about the gyroscopes in the airplanes, the measuring curved water tests. There's a bunch of those. There's the Foucault's pendulum, doing it through all the. Jeremy's also had the idea of putting an accelerometer on a Foucault's pendulum. That's very interesting as well. There's just so many tests that.
Oh, that's dope.
That's on Cavendish, right? Isn't that Cavendish throw an accelerometer on that bad boy?
Cavendish is what I
pendulum.
described earlier with holding a plumb bob off a mountain and seeing how much it deviates.
Interferometry
There would be no
test,
side to side on the.
replicating Dayton Miller. Go ahead.
There'd be no side to side acceleration on a pendulum. You'd get the back and forth acceleration all day, but it deviating off of that on a different axis, there would be no acceleration if it was actually yeah, because it's a pseudo force, so not real. It's not like real. Yeah, it's the Coriolis effect. I mean, on another note too, Gio, these guys think they do have science. You hear them with the Foucault pendulum all the time. Oh, this is science. Earth's rotating. We got the science for it. Foucault pendulum. It doesn't lead to that though. Like the Foucault pendulum doesn't lead you to a scientific experiment that shows that the Earth's rotating. That guy who was in here, he thought he had science when he said it. They all think they do. Some of them probably still think they do. Even walking away from that convo, he probably still thinks he's got science for a rotating Earth with the Foucault pendulum.
Yeah, wait, you're saying like to point out to the larger community these issues? Was that kind of part of what you were implying with that?
Okay, so I think I kind of see what you did there. You're saying whole trap thing you were trying to set up. You were trying to claim that's the only definition, when in reality it's not so black and white. A scientific experiment is when you identify a problem and then create a test to
Problem,
verify it
reaction,
or
solution.
not.
Whoever
The scientific method, we all learned about it.
Whoever DM'd you that, just put them on block.
He's getting DMs in the background.
Oh, you know, for him to just come back with this new shit. Oh, now I know a different theory. It's like, oh, in what, 5 minutes? Of course, 5 minutes, you thought of this on your own.
It does happen
a
lot.
Completely against what you were saying earlier. Okay,
it's been going on Discord for years. Often, like if somebody new comes in, you know, like they'll it's like they're getting DMs from multiple people in the background trying to like tell them what to say and stuff.
Yeah, just let these people think for themselves and come to their own conclusions. What's so bad about that? Like if they disagree with something, they don't align. It doesn't mean they're a flat earther. It doesn't mean anything other than that's the conclusion they came to. It's like people feel so defensive about a model they don't even understand or know how to defend.
No, because it's a house of cards. You can't knock any one of the cards out and retain the rest of the structure. That's why it's like a big thing.
Yeah, but I mean, if you're using the scientific method to isolate a cause, then it's different. Like there's other ways that the word science is used for, like, you know, like you could watch like the mating process of birds, and now some people would not agree that that would fit into the category of science, or it's not a scientific experiment, but that is like in the modern era that word is used. Like if you were just to observe birds and then, you know, and so on, you know, mating or whatever. But if you're trying to isolate a cause of something, like imagine if you have like chemicals, like in chemistry, if you're gonna mix one chemical to another, you have to have a very strict and rigid system of, you know, cause and effect. And then you get your dependent and independent variables and so on, because you need to figure out what is the cause of this chemical reaction. Is it this chemical A, or chemical B, or chemical C, you know, that created this, you know, the final solution, as it were, and all the complexity that goes into that. So if you're trying to find the cause of something, then you do need to isolate it. And that's where you get into a dependent independent variable, so that you can actually isolate that, you know, for sure that the cause is that, you know, like if you have boiling water and you're adding heat to it, you know, you're isolating that it's the heat that makes it boil, you know, in that case. Now there's actually other ways water can boil through pressure and so on, but I'm just saying you're trying to that form of boiling and so on. Then, you know, yeah. So if you're going to try to use Foucault's pendulum or something like this to try to claim that the cause of it is Earth rotation, then you would have to have dependent and independent variables, and you're not able to do that. And the issue with that is that it could be caused by something else. And so you wouldn't want to make a faulty conclusion by jumping over the steps of a dependent independent variable and just linking a correlation in that example to something and thinking it proves it, or that, you know, that it somehow isolates it. It could lead you down the wrong path. You know, you could end up coming to a wrong conclusion, you know, in that case. And that's why it's problematic, because there could be something else actually causing it. If you haven't actually isolated the cause is still out there. You know, it's still on the loose, basically. Like you haven't isolated it yet, you know, when it comes to that.
Okay, so what you're saying,
how do you falsify anything you're doing?
So what you're saying is, if you'd have to do the experiment, but eliminate the possibility of it being this aether or toroidal thing.
Well, you have to just isolate the cause.
Isn't it? The claim is that those operate on some sort of electromagnetic frequencies, correct? So you'd have to shield it, or in some way do it in such a way that would mean those forces wouldn't be able to apply. Is that what you're saying?
No, you got to give your way. The method is there to prevent, to like give yourself a way to falsify what you're claiming to be real in the first place. If you can't just have bias in there and built and caked into this method. It removes the bias and says, hey, look, you think this is real? You think this is true? Okay, test it. All right, now change what you think it is, that independent variable. You set it to 10, it does this. All right, we'll set it to 5. Does it still do that or not? And then, all right, now switch it back to 10. Does it still do that? But if you're saying, I'm going to remove that knob that allows me to switch it to 5 and 10 and check it, then where do you go from there? There's no way to falsify it or challenge it or remove the bias because you already baked it into your method. So the whole point is removing all that bias to prevent all that so you don't come to the wrong conclusions.
And what you were saying about, I think I heard what you were saying about shielding it. I mean, that's potentially problematic. So, I mean, it depends on what actually is the cause. I mean, if you wanted to isolate that it's like a magnetic or electric effect, then yeah, you could try to isolate it like you're talking about, like try to, have like a Faraday cage or some kind of a way to control for that. But that also may not be necessarily like the totality of what's causing it either, So, I mean, you could attempt to do that.
You got to manipulate the thing that's causing the thing to walk away with some kind of science to say this is causing that. Otherwise, you don't have any science. If you're trying to claim a cause to something and you're saying it's science, but you don't have the independent variable manipulated, you don't have science. You just have a guess, affirming the consequent, if you will.
And the variable is performing the experiment at different latitudes, north and south of the equator, which has been done. And we've gotten the results we predicted.
Okay, I'm going to address it. And that tells you that you get weight change at different latitudes. That's the effect. That's just you going around measuring.
How can weight change affect the angle?
My bad. I didn't mean weight change. I meant you get a different deviation in the Foucault pendulum with different latitude changes. That is the effect. So you think by going around and measuring the effect all over the place that you have the cause, and you're saying the cause is Earth rotation. You don't have the cause. All you do is just measure the effect all over the place. That's all you have is an effect measurement. No cause.
An effect measurement that was predicted by, claiming the Earth rotates.
Don't matter. I could say unicorns do it. It doesn't matter. It's just affirming the consequent after that.
Okay, let me try to start over.
He still thinks he has science. See what I'm saying, Gio? Like they don't
Let me try starting over.
They don't even know that they don't have the science.
Okay, the claim to start is the Earth rotates. The next step is we can prove it by swinging a pendulum at different latitudes and measuring the results. That's the next logical step, which was done.
What's causing the pendulum to move? Manipulate that. You can't.
We manipulate it by measuring it at different places.
You manipulate.
That's how the variable is. That is how the variable is being changed. That's how it's being changed.
No, the variable, the cause you guys are saying is Earth rotation. You're never manipulating that. All you're doing is the effect is we get different Foucault pendulum precessions with different latitudes. You go around and measure all the different precession effects. That's not you getting the cause. Gio, see what I'm saying? He still thinks he has science even after all this. He's like they don't even know they don't have the thing they think they have.
It's because I'm not communicating it clearly enough to where you can actually understand.
You don't understand it. You don't.
No, I do understand it. I do understand it. I'm just not. Making you understand my point clearly enough.
Is we're looking for a cause and effect relationship. You say,
and I understand.
Right?
I understand that.
It is the pendulum swinging back and forth. Right. This is the effect. Is this pendulum moving in this particular pattern? And then you tell me the cause is the Earth spinning. I'm like, okay, if you're looking for the cause and effect relationship, you must manipulate the cause. If you don't manipulate the cause, you do not know if that is the cause. Because you're not changing anything. You just say, well, this happens. Then you got an observation, like Jeremy was saying. It's like that's all. You're just observing something that happens on Earth. It's
Okay, and you've explained that 5 times by now, and I'm just starting to yes, you have explained it many times. We agree with that. Now I am trying to explain why how that plays in to the globe model.
No, fuck the model. Just why do you disagree with that standard?
I'm not disagreeing with that. I'm trying to explain how the two operate at the same time, because the Earth rotates at different speeds at different latitudes.
So you found a correlation.
At the poles, it doesn't rotate very much at all. But at the equator, it's quite fast.
Right. So you shift it to I have a correlation, therefore causation. No.
Yeah, you're just saying that. You don't have any actual science. You don't have any actual science back. You're just saying that. You don't have any actual science backing that up. This was supposed to be the science backing that up, but you don't have it.
It's fallacious. It's textbook from the consequent. If Q, then P. You got Q, therefore P. You are assuming the cause. You haven't isolated the cause. You keep calling the effect the independent variable when the effect at different latitudes is actually the dependent variable. Look it up, dude.
Yeah, because if the thing you're changing, if you're changing latitude, in the case, because we're very, many of us are very, very familiar with all of the arguments with this, so that is often what's claimed, and you're probably reading that online, or you've already read that somewhere, or someone told you that. But yeah, so if you're going to claim that the independent variable is changing latitude, then what you're then claiming is that at that point, if that's your independent variable, essentially, then that would mean that latitude change is your cause, not Earth rotation, but latitude change, because that's your independent variable. So the independent variable is related to the cause. So at that point, if you're going to say, hey, I'm changing the latitude, that's my independent variable, well, then now it's not Earth rotation as the cause, it's latitude change as the cause, because that's the thing you're changing. And at that point,
but the question becomes, but then the question becomes, why does we can prove that changing latitude changes the result.
Right.
Now we have to ask the question of why does this happen in a very, very predictable manner.
But we can't. But doing this so far, what we've gotten to, doesn't actually isolate what the cause is. We do have, like, let's just say that it does precess at the different latitudes. Let's just take that for granted right now, instead of, because that's a whole nother debate whether it does or doesn't do this. And there's not really a thorough amount of these done, like in all the latitude ranges, like we've said. And so that's still, but even if we set that aside, let's say it does precess at all the latitudes consistently. Even if it does that, just because we can observe it doing that at different latitudes, unless you have some way to actually propose a cause and then have that be your independent variable, or your dependent variable, or sorry, your independent variable that you're going to actually adjust and modify, which you then would be able to have that be the cause, to propose that would be the cause. So in this case, if the claim is Earth rotation, you would have to actually modify the actual Earth rotation in order for that to be, claimed to be a cause. And if you did, but that's obviously going to be virtually impossible to do. I mean, even if we were on a ball that was spinning and all that, you're not going to be able to change the spin of the Earth, unless, I mean, the one thing you can do with pendulums, I mean, there's the Elias effect, which is this also is another thing we need to test and do more thorough. But the Elias effect is when the pendulum, it changes its precession during a eclipse. So now that's something, if it actually does change, it's called the Elias effect. If it actually changes its precession pattern when an eclipse happens, well, when an eclipse happens, the Earth rotation is not changing. That's staying the same. So that actually would be a major problem for the idea that it's Earth rotation, meaning that if it happens during an eclipse and the Earth hasn't changed rotating, well, then that's going to really strongly rule out that it is actually the Earth rotation causing it in the first place. And that it could be something, something else going on in the medium and so on. I mean, why would two balls out in space lining up change the rotation of the Earth?
I mean, just from this the side of science, the explanation would be gravity, but that's an entirely different debate. So,
but they don't have an explanation for the Elias effect. Like if it does, now I do think that they might try to say like some kind of gravitational wave or something. So they could try to come up with that. I mean that needs to be done more thoroughly. The Elias effect needs to be replicated, and there's a lot of evidence that it works with a torsion pendulum, which is a different type of pendulum. And there's also paraconical pendulums. There's other pendulums other than the Foucaults. There's paraconical, and it has been observed. Like Elias himself was able to claim that he picked it up with a paraconical and a torsion pendulum. And there's even more data that seems like the torsion pendulum picks the Elias effect up more readily. The Foucault's pendulum might be a little bit trickier to get the eclipse effect, and I'm not sure how many have actually tried that. So there's a lot that still needs to be done, in all of these, but it's just related.
yeah, it sounds to me, I've never done this myself, but I heard that if you dig a hole during a full moon, and then fill it back up, the dirt will be sticking out a bit because the moon's gravity is attracting the dirt. But if you do the same thing during a new moon, it'll be fill the hole back in. It'll be concave.
That could actually be the most ridiculous thing I've ever heard.
I have never.
How you don't have.
Even if I was a Glober,
I've never done it. I've never done the experiment, so I can't verify it. It's just something I heard of. No, I've never done it.
You just lost the Glober probability, bro.
That story about the dirt.
I've never done the experiment, so I can't verify it. I'm just saying it's something I've heard of, and that if you can find videos or evidence of people actually doing it, then that would be something else.
Yeah, repeat it 2 more
But still,
times.
like that kind of proves that helps proving the concept of gravity. Now, if that is true, then that gravity can have that kind of effect, then absolutely the gravity of the moon would have an effect on the pendulums. We can
Hold on, man. That story was neat. That was a neat story, guys. Come on, man.
Let Jeremy get in.
That story was neat about the dirt. Go ahead, make a list, Gio. Make a list.
No, I think Rakia was unmuting, so let's go Jeremy and then Rakia. Go ahead. Jeremy, you're first. Go.
That story was neat about the dirt, but you now realize that you don't have any actual science with the Foucault involving the Foucault pendulum showing that Earth's rotating. That's not your scientific proof of Earth rotation. The Foucault pendulum.
Yeah, and I was discussing something else right there at that moment that was related to what it was related to the Elias, the eclipse thing that was being discussed. That was what I was talking about.
Okay, but we're trying to get some closure. All right, but we're trying to make sure we get some closure on the last point that we spent an hour or however long on. Is that in the end you actually don't have science for showing that Earth's rotating with a Foucault pendulum?
We have an inference. We have a correlation at best. But the crazy thing about inferences is when you do infer something, you have to use a proper inference rule. And you can't affirm the consequent, you have to affirm the antecedent. And the antecedent in this is the Earth is spinning. And nobody's affirming that.
Okay, are you trying to get in before Rakia?
When you get information.
Can I get an answer from the guy?
We had kind of a list. What?
Get an answer from the guy?
All right, do you have an answer, everyone?
Can I get an answer from though? Do you now realize that you don't have science for that? Foucault pendulum is not scientific proof evidence of the Earth rotating.
Certainly is. You can say it's not, Jeremy, but it certainly is. It's been accepted.
Hold on, bro. Hold on. You just got here. Hold on. Everyone is going to respond to that, and then I don't know if Rakia wanted to get in. I saw him unmuting before if he wants to, but everyone, do you want to respond to Jeremy that it's not science, or do you still think it is?
It is science in that it's a prediction is being made, a prediction is being tested, but is it direct evidence that the Earth is rotating? I'll say that you've poked holes in that theory.
100%.
Holes that I do that I at this point.
You didn't make a scientific.
I don't have. I don't know how to properly answer you on that. I'll give you that.
Okay, here's the thing, though. You don't have any. All right, man. Here's the thing, though. You don't have any The prediction was not a scientific prediction because I could have predicted that invisible unicorns are making the pendulum deviate. And now I have invisible unicorn science. Because I made a prediction, right? With the invisible unicorns, I predicted it. So now I have invisible unicorn science. That's what you think you got going on here.
Did you prove invisible unicorns?
I was gonna say, go ahead and
if I do what he did, and instead of Earth rotating, I just replace it with invisible unicorns. We're both on the same. We both have the same ground.
Yeah,
he
go
doesn't
ahead
have anything
that.
better than
No, because you know you can prove that it isn't invisible unicorns because you can build it in such a way that you know there's no way they could have interacted with it.
But they're invisible. I think what he's just saying is that you could come up with any model, theory, or idea, and you could match it to, even if you want to take Jeremy's unicorn things, let's just say that there's different size unicorns from the equator to the North Pole. The ones at the equator are, whatever you want to say, they're in tracks, like little race tracks going all the way, and therefore that's why it processes differently. Now, I know that's like an absurd concept. I don't think anyone's actually claiming there's invisible unicorns, but it's just, if you had that theory and then you said, hey, look, I go out and I get this precession at 20 degrees latitude, this one at 25, this one at 30, this now proves that it's the unicorns. You see, you know what I mean? So in that case as well, you haven't isolated that it's unicorns. You haven't actually, isolated a cause. You're just making and affirming the consequent. It's really also begging the question. But those are the two types of fallacies that this is. But you're just linking a correlation to the effect without actually isolating the cause. And no matter what your theory is, if you haven't actually manipulated it and done a proper independent variable, then you haven't actually scientifically isolated it in an experiment, in the same way you can with like chemistry or, other things that we can isolate causes.
It just happens to correlate with the sphere radius 3959, right? And so the unicorn just happened to push the pendulum just perfectly at every location.
Not about the unicorns, dude. It's about you're affirming the consequent, not the antecedent. No one has control.
Again. You don't know what you're talking about.
Excuse me, sir. No one has controlled for Earth spin to guarantee it's the Earth spinning that's doing it. That's it. This is very simple.
Just happens to match it, though. It just happens to match the rotation. No matter where we do the Foucault pendulum, it just matches the
it doesn't.
And it works with everything else.
The precession is such that it matches perfectly to the globe of radius 3959.
No,
but it just happens to be unicorn.
It's just habitual correlation.
So maybe I'm a conspiracy. Maybe I'm a coincidence theorist. And no, I'm not stopping, bro. You definitely were not the first one, and not even close. So you're all coincidence theorists, anyways. So this should work fine. It's a big coincidence that it matches. No big deal. Doesn't change the fact that you have this is not the science that proves Earth, this is not the science that gives you evidence of Earth rotating, because we could just as well use it as scientific evidence for ether rotation or invisible unicorns or whatever affirming the consequent you want to stick in there.
It's not affirming the consequent, though. This matches with math. We have math. We have, this is evidence. This is not. If you want to postulate unicorns, go ahead and publish that theory and get laughed out. Everyone's going to laugh at your butt when you say invisible unicorns.
I'll frame the argument for you so you could see it. Maybe you're not seeing it. If the Earth is a rotating, spinning body, when we put a pendulum on it, it would precess at specific rates at different latitudes. The pendulum does precess at different rates, at specific rates at different latitudes. Therefore, the Earth is spinning. That's affirming the consequent.
That's not affirming the consequent. You go out and get evidence.
I just did it. I said if P, then Q, Q, therefore P. I just did it for you.
You falsely. I don't care. You can say it that way, but it's false.
Okay, well then, if you want it the right way, it goes: if the Earth is spinning, then the pendulum will precess at a certain rate at different latitudes, and then you would say the Earth is spinning, therefore the pendulum precesses at different latitudes. See that premise one? You haven't proven anything when you say that.
You'll notice that like scientific papers don't do that, Torah. They don't put like P1s and P2s. They just they make a hypothesis, and they go out and test it, and then they say this is evidence that supports this. So
yeah, dude, I can derive the P's.
All right, what's the hypothesis for the? Hold on, man. What's the hypothesis then for this Foucault pendulum?
The hypothesis is
ahead,
that
bro.
if Earth is a globe, and if Earth is a globe, then when you swing a pendulum, that it should process at the same rate.
It's not a hypothesis.
Yeah, it is.
It's not a hypothesis.
But thanks for interrupting me. Thanks for interrupting me.
Go ahead. Carry on with your non-hypothesis.
I lost my train of thought because I got interrupted.
Oh, okay.
I know. See, the thing about it is, in 1850, everyone accepted it. And until the flat Earth thing comes around, I mean, you guys can bullshit anything you want. You can say invisible periods. Go ahead and publish that, Jeremy. Go ahead and say.
Phinky, you can't come in and just be freestyling hypotheses, bro. That ain't gonna work, dude.
Yeah, but
I would appreciate if I could at least get it all the way out, and then you could critique it. Maybe it's a bad hypothesis, but it's kind of rude just in the middle be like, that's not a hypothesis.
I gave it to you, dude. I gave you the hypothetical argument.
Well, try it the other way. If the pendulum precesses at various rates throughout, specific rates at different latitudes, the Earth is a sphere and rotating. We notice these rotations, therefore the Earth is a sphere.
Okay, why is the necessary precondition to us? Hold on. What is it? Why is it that the necessary precondition to a sphere rotating is necessary that a pendulum would have to precess at specific rates? What is the argument for that? You're saying it's impossible for any other scenario to cause the pendulum to precess like that? Because I have news for you. Relativity states there is an answer for why the pendulum precesses if the Earth is not moving. And it's the distant galaxy. It's the spin of the distant galaxies.
The spin of the distant galaxies influences the rotation of a pendulum to show that the Earth is a sphere of 3959. That's interesting.
Specific to latitude.
If the Earth is stationary.
Mach's principle,
Explore
dude.
this idea more. How does this work with the distant galaxies, and how does it work relative to latitude?
Yeah, because the stars are the distant galaxies. So those stars that you look at that are precessing at the rate that you're talking about, the precession you're looking for, that's what would be the cause if the Earth is stationary with everything going around with it, which is an equal coordinate system to as if the Earth is moving around the sun. Dude, every single thing. Because of relativity, every single thing that you can explain on a globe that is going around the sun can also be explained on a globe that is not going around the sun.
How do these distant galaxies
Wow, that is such an ignorant statement.
Phinky, dude.
How do the
There's
distant
so many
galaxies
people talking right now. Hold on. We got to make a list or something, Gio.
We got to make a list and go one at a time.
I
want to
be on the list. Imperious. It was good.
Someone tell me how the distant galaxies influence the gyros, how they influence
I'm
the
trying to,
pendulum.
bro. If you just shut your mouth, dude. I'm trying, dude. I've been trying to get in. One thing I wanted to say to Phinky is that a hypothesis, right, is a premise, is a proposition, right? In logic, it's the same thing. They're synonymous, right? I also want to mention that if you include Mach's principle, right, and Maxwell's equations in fluid dynamics, the rotation of the distant galaxies, the cosmos itself, influences, just like fluid dynamics influences things on Earth and causes them to precess, whether it's the laser gyro or Foucault's pendulum, or even hurricanes. Go ahead.
Wow. You have any evidence of that hypothesis?
Yeah, the craziest part about all this.
Yes, dude. We have a paper.
Please show me the evidence.
Go ahead.
The craziest part about all this. Hold on. The craziest part about all this is that at the highest level of PhD-ness that you can get, they don't even know if the pendulum's even moving. They don't know if it's swinging back and forth, processing, anything. They have no idea if it's even moving.
Jeremy's going for the grand slam.
Yeah, that's out the park. You got knocked out the ring on that one. You guys don't even know if this thing's moving, bro. At the highest level of PhD-ness.
We're not at the highest level.
It's not if JFK got shot. It's did JFK even exist?
We're not at the highest level of PhDs in here, are we?
PhD's nuts.
Yes, the highest level of the highest level of PhD nuts in here. You never know what's moving.
That's so irrelevant.
I have a master's degree.
It's not. How is it irrelevant when we're talking about the movement of the pendulum? You're telling me not knowing what's moving or not, that's irrelevant when we're talking about the moving of something?
Yes, that's irrelevant to this conversation.
Doesn't it really sound irrelevant? It sounds like you guys don't even know if the pendulum's moving or not.
Contend with the evidence that the pendulum's swing deviation is quite predictable. Contend with that evidence.
That doesn't matter. That's the fact you can predict how much it's going to swing by is irrelevant. We've already went through that. You have no science backing up that this is the rotation of the Earth with the pendulum. Even though I'm guessing that this was supposed to be, the evidence, the science that Earth was rotating, it's not there.
So what evidence would you accept then? Because every evidence that we have is the only evidence that is possible to get. What other evidence?
One that's not affirming the consequent. I'd take one that's not affirming the consequent. Do you agree? A hypothesis. Do you guys agree that a hypothesis is an inference?
No,
you're inferring something.
Evidence,
right?
Evidence.
If it is an inference, then you have to follow proper inference rules. Affirming the consequent is a wrong inference rule. So inferences come in the form of modus ponens.
You guys, can everybody calm down? Hold on. Can we all relax? You guys, we have to have it like a talking stick. Only one person gets a talking stick at a time because otherwise it's just audio chaos. So can Torah finish? And then NASA Show, if you want to go, can you try to speak when it's your turn? Please go ahead, Torah.
Yeah, I just want to say if a hypothesis is an inference, then there's specific rules that you must follow when making inferences. You have modus ponens, modus tollens, and you have like transcendental argumentation. So there are many forms in how we can make inferences. But when you take modus ponens, which is if P then Q, P therefore Q, and switch it to if P then Q, Q therefore P, you've affirmed the consequent and you have wrecked the inference rule. The inference no longer works because it doesn't follow the mathematical equation required for it to preserve truth. Thanks.
Coming from a flat
earth. Inference. Evidence is not inference. Going out and finding evidence and showing that your hypothesis is true is not affirming the consequence. Stop it.
Okay. Evidence would be inference. That's
hypothesis. Hold on, you don't have a hypothesis. That's the problem.
We do have a hypothesis.
Hold on, that's the show. How is it not affirming the consequence? Because what you did right there, with all due respect, was just kind of a dogmatic assertion. Just
it's the same as his.
So could you? Yeah, but you're just saying, no. So could you actually give why it's not affirming the consequent?
Because you got evidence. You went out and found facts, things, observations, things that you saw that show that your hypothesis is true. It is not just affirming the consequent.
That was a textbook affirming the consequent.
Oh my God! You don't.
Right there.
Because
what he did
is background in science.
You didn't.
What's your background in science? What's your background in science? Hold on. This logic guy. What's your background in science? Come on. What do you know? What?
Okay, hold on. You're derailing to personal attacks and accusations.
No, I'm not derailing to personal attacks. I'm derailing to what's his background.
Please don't interrupt. This is why you get muted. Please stop speaking.
God dang, you're interrupting me. I'm trying to talk to logic, dude.
We have to go. This is why you get muted. I'm just going to mute you if you're going to continue doing this. We have to go one at a time. Relax. Now, the question, if you don't want to answer it, it's okay. You don't have to feel like you're being roasted or anything. I'm just saying the question was, how is it not affirming the consequent? And then you started shouting about his credentials, and then you started saying there's all these other evidences. If you care to respond, this response would have to be addressing specifically how it's not an affirming the consequent, and then give the alternative to it not being.
I'm just trying to figure out where he's ever come up with this idea that a hypothesis and going out and getting evidence is affirming the consequent. Where did he come up with this dumb idea?
That's not what he's saying.
You can't do it, Gio. You can't.
I don't even know if he understands
exactly
what it is. He's not saying going out and getting evidence is. He's saying how it's being linked. The P's and Q's. Are you familiar with how that works? Do you know how logic works?
Yeah, I know what logic is.
Okay, then could you put forth a logical syllogism that is not affirming the consequent that relates to Foucault's pendulum?
I could help you out real quick, dude. All you got to do, bro, is
Let him freestyle a syllogism, bro. Let Paige freestyle a syllogism real quick.
He was paused for like 3 seconds, 4 seconds. But let me just say this.
See if he's trying to think of it.
Well, hold on. Let me just say this, bro. Just one thing real quick. This is all you have to do to fix your argument, bro. Make it valid. It's not say that therefore it must be a globe. Just leave it open-ended. It's evidence for a globe, right?
Exactly,
but it's not exclusive. There could be other causes. If you left it open, it wouldn't be affirming the consequent. It'd be a rational inference.
That's all science is.
That's not what he's saying. You guys are saying therefore it is a globe.
Syllogism real quick, Lion, Gio asked him a question. Can we let him go to that? Because now he's on to this, and he's not going to come up with some non-affirming the consequent thing. Go ahead, freestyle your syllogism, Paid.
Freestyle my syllogism, right? Come up with an answer to people that think that finding hypothesis is a.
All right, you can't do it, Gio. You don't have a
because it's
hypothesis
wrong.
either. You don't have a syllogism. You don't have a hypothesis. You got nothing.
We do have a hypothesis.
Nothing.
What are you talking about? The hypothesis
got
is the Earth
nothing.
is rotating. This was accepted. This was accepted. I mean, just because a bunch of people don't like the fact that the Earth is rotating and think that they have an answer to like a 150-year-old experiment that was accepted way back then, you think suddenly that you're smarter than everybody?
What was the hypothesis?
We have
hold
the
on.
evidence.
What was it?
The evidence
What was the
does not
hypothesis?
suggest
I'm getting out.
Hold on, Red.
I'm getting out of here
Hold on, Red.
because everybody knows that the science janitor knows more than all the other scientists. So please, science janitor, tell me that the Earth is flat.
I'm an anti-entropy. I'm an
actually schooled the science teachers in this school, so that's not a thing. If anyone thinks they have a hypothesis, hold on, man. Someone's talking the whole way through me. Who is it? Let's just focus on this hypothesis. Can we have the hypothesis for Foucault's pendulum where it leads to Earth rotation?
Yes, you got it earlier. You said it's not a hypothesis.
What is it? Go ahead, say it again then. Say it again.
Say it again so you can say again that it's not a hypothesis.
Say it again. You don't even know what it is. I didn't even let him finish last time.
I was listening.
What is it then? Say it. Dude, don't just keep your mic closed if you ain't got nothing. Like if you're just gonna come in here and try to fool us or something, don't even bother. It ain't gonna work today. You don't really gotta get up in the morning to fool me.
Okay, shut up for a second.
You don't really gotta get up in the morning to fool me.
Jeremy, shut up for a second.
I can make it.
Go through everybody. All right. We have the evidence that when you measure the swing of a pendulum, that it precesses in a manner consistent with a rotating body. That's the evidence. And so it supports the idea that we're on a rotating body. And it's not alone. It's not a singular point of data. It's a point of data in a sea. It's a boat of data in a sea of boats, in a flotilla of data. That's what it is.
Okay, we got it, dude.
We don't just say this thing swings a certain way, therefore globe. It's in conjunction with a bunch of evidence. Thank you,
dude.
Jeremy.
That's not the claim, though. The claim is not that it precesses due to being on a rotating body. It precesses and correlates to latitude and longitude.
Yes, I'm aware of that.
That doesn't have anything to do with the sphere. That just means it precesses it precesses in sync with the celestial sphere. That's it. That's all you got.
What I said was that it's consistent with the behavior of a swinging pendulum on a rotating body.
Or a celestial sphere.
Yeah, I got a quote right here.
Real quick, guys. Real quick, bro. Real quick. It's all damn, man. You got to fight to get in these days. It's also consistent with swirling ether, invisible unicorns at different latitude. I come up with about 1,000 things.
Prove there are invisible unicorns or an ether.
Well, but then you could say prove that the Earth is rotating.
Because it's affirming the consequent. I can't because it's affirming the consequent, the same thing you have. It's the same thing you have, which is an affirming the consequent fallacy. You can't prove any of it. Because if you could, you would just be doing it right now instead of giving us affirming the consequence.
Then any evidence you look for will be affirming the consequence, and therefore it wouldn't be valid. That's the standard you have to go to support flat Earth. That's where you have to go to.
That's not true. You can do this on a...
All right, let's let Lion get in. Hold on.
Hold on. What he said is not even true, though.
Let me complete my thought, and then you tell me. The upshot of that is that nothing can be proven. And that, I think, is the point. That I think is where you want to be.
No, dude,
you want to be where you can't prove anything.
That's just not true. Let me respond to this.
Go ahead.
Okay.
If we had a Foucault pendulum and we place it on a merry-go-round, I don't know is it him roboting or me?
Both.
I was talking.
No, you're good.
Hello?
You're good. You're good, Jeremy.
Okay, if we had a Foucault pendulum and we put it on a merry-go-round and we didn't spin the merry-go-round, and the pendulum just goes back and forth. And then we put it on the merry-go-round, and now it's processing crazy because we're spinning it fast. You can prove that the cause of the
Now you're robotic.
All right, you're breaking up, Jeremy. You're breaking up, so you got to take a sec. Just let your connection reset. Lion was trying to get in.
I appreciate it. Yeah, real quick, Jeremy, you're breaking up. I don't know why he would claim that now we can't know anything when we're not solids, bro. We're not claiming to be solids. With this specific observation, notice how I'm saying observation, not experiment. You have not isolated the cause. Science is all about cause and effect relationship. If P, then Q. It's actually logic, fundamentally. If you isolate the cause, then you can validate the cause of the effect. When you're doing these observations with Foucault's pendulum, you have not isolated the cause. Therefore, you can't affirm what the premise is, what the hypothesis is, right? So if you were able to isolate the cause, then you would actually have a legitimate avenue for acquiring knowledge. With this case, that's not, you don't have that, right? And I did have a paper for you. Then
I'm sorry, but that's not
go
accurate.
ahead. All right, real quick,
I'm
dude.
sorry,
I got a
that's just
paper.
not accurate.
What's not accurate?
Anything you just said, because by that standard, by the standard you just are applying, you can't find out anything, because anyone could just say that you're just affirming the consequent because you came up with the hypothesis.
You're just making the argument again like a
That's just not true, bro. That's just not true, dude. I just took you through the thing with the merry-go-round. I just took you through the thing with the merry-go-round. You can show the cause of the procession on the merry-go-round, but you just can't do it with Earth because you're not doing the thing science. Because you're not doing the thing science wants you to do. You're doing some other thing.
You are gathering evidence for a specific hypothesis that the Earth is a globe and it's rotating at a specific speed. That's what you're doing. You're gathering evidence to support that hypothesis. If everything that you do fails, then you throw away the hypothesis and you say, okay, well, Earth isn't a sphere and isn't rotating.
Right? Okay, cool. Everything you do affirms the consequent, which logically fails because you're trying to make an inference, but you're using the wrong inference rule. So every single argument that you make fails. So yes, you are correct. You should at that point throw away that hypothesis, because every time you try to make an inference rule that starts with if the Earth is a globe, you have to affirm the consequent. This does not mean we can't know things. This is just the scientific method and the strictness of it. And you're like upset at a room of people for the strictness of a method we didn't create.
Your strictness is kind of it's inappropriate coming from a set of beliefs that you have not used the scientific methods to.
Yo, listen, hold on. I wasn't even finished. Listen, don't hate the player, hate the game. Dude, we didn't create these rules.
What do you have for
these rules have existed before we were born. The scientific method is a rigid framework, right?
Yeah,
you're attacking science. Fundamentally, you have a problem with science and its framework, which is rigid for a reason. Science is meant to isolate the cause. It's about cause and effect relationships. The Foucault's pendulum observation. The Foucault pendulum observation. You have not isolated the cause. So then affirm that it's because of the globe spinning. That's literally what you're doing when there could be other options. And I got one right here. I posted the paper.
What it does.
Post it again.
What it does.
Hold on, dude. I posted the paper. It's right here. Newton. You see it? Newton Machian analysis of the Neo-Tychonian model. Within it, there's a physicist named Luka Popov, and he hypothesizes another explanation. According to Mach's principle, the Earth could be considered as the pivot point of the universe. The fact that the universe is orbiting around the Earth will create the exact same forces that we usually ascribe to the motion of the Earth, unquote. Popov argues that if Mach's principle is true, meaning that the inertial and centrifugal forces are caused by the relative motion of the distant masses of the universe, then the pseudo forces we feel in a non-inertial frame like the stationary Earth are not fictitious, but real physical forces produced by the rotating universe. There you go.
I'm going to respond by saying, if you apply these strict definitions of science that you seem to know really well, however, you don't apply them to flat Earth, because if you did, you wouldn't believe in flat Earth.
Not a flat earther. Okay, so you're making the argument
This
again.
guy has no. This guy has no real
you.
arguments or anything.
I
We
wasn't
got to
talking
just
to
move
you.
on from this
It's
guy.
just a non sequitur to try to get people defending
This guy
other
literally has
things. And,
nothing.
yeah, it's just a total derail.
Those
Hey,
are
Rob,
called
We have the
prepared.
evidence.
no, he's still
We have
muted.
the evidence that focal pendulums prove that the Earth is
Hey,
Just take
rotating.
5, Red Cloud.
Red Cloud, I think
Cloud.
you're hot micing, buddy.
Take
Yeah, I think
5,
you're
Red
hot
Cloud.
micing.
No, he was saying it's evidence. Yeah, it could be seen as evidence for, but it's not conclusive and it doesn't isolate. Here, let me read this one thing. This is just from the Wikipedia page for affirming the consequent. I'm just going to read this real quick because it gives an example. It says, for example, it may be true that a broken lamp would cause the room. Oh, sorry. Okay, I'm going to try to read this perfectly. Okay, ready? Go. It's just like two sentences. This is for affirming the consequent. Okay, for example, it may be true that a broken lamp would cause a room to become dark. It is not true, however, that a dark room implies the presence of a broken lamp. There may be no lamp or any light source, or the lamp might be functional but switched off. In other words, the consequent, a dark room, can have other antecedents, no lamp, off lamp, etc., and so can still be true even if the stated antecedent is not. So that's the issue. That's what this ends up being. If you're going to try to say that Foucault's pendulum is, if I say the word proof, or is absolutely, a kind of verifiable scientific experiment, even if you're going to go that far, that Earth is rotating, it has that fundamental issue because you haven't actually isolated, and there could be another cause to it. And so if what you're saying is being hyperly strict, if you think it's too strict for you, that's fair. You can have your own, your own standard of evidence for yourself to come to conclusions or to think about things. But if we want to get to the truth as a human community, individually we can all have our own views. But if we want to, as a human community, come to the truth, which is part of like the human spirit and so on and so forth, that's even what a lot of the mainstream, there's a string of that kind of spirit of like, we do amazing things in this world, like engineering and airplanes, and we come together. We want to get to the truth. So if we want to get to the truth, we can't all just have kind of subjective. We can have our own subjective points, but I'm saying that that's not necessarily going to be as conclusive as if we want to get to the truth and are very strict about it. Chemists are very, very strict about what they're doing. So to get to truth, that's required.
Right. So we have learned a lot about the shape of the Earth and the motion of the Earth and the motions of the planets and all the rest of it. But if you apply that sort of strict analysis, that's all I'm saying. If you apply the strict analysis and use data, then you would have to come to the conclusion that Earth is a globe. Because
This guy literally has nothing, bro. This is ridiculous. This guy's like fluff.
Inference rules preserve truth. If you don't use the inference rule properly, you're not preserving the truth. You're just making it up.
And you are not preserving the truth by just applying those rules applied to the globe, but not applying them to your beliefs. That's inconsistent.
I'm agnostic.
That's hypocritical.
I'm agnostic because, dude, no, I am the most honest in my position because I hold agnostic. I say I'm agnostic towards the shape of the Earth because I don't believe that the evidence on either side is strong enough to sway me to one side or the other. So that is an honest position. What I'm saying is if I heard more arguments that weren't put in faulty inference rules that actually preserve truth, then I would consider it. But every single argument for the globe is an affirming the consequent. I've listened to them for a long time.
No, I think what you're doing, you have a presupposed idea, and you're going to stick to that. I've seen this lots of times before, and people say,
"I told you
I'm
he's
not
agnostic, dude. You're not even following the convo. You're literally not. Can we get a different Glober in here or something? This is brutal. This guy's brutal.
I know it
is. I just told you I'm postponing judgment on the decision, and then you just said, no, you're not. How do you know that? How do you know something about me that I didn't say to you? You can only know the things about me that I'm saying to you. Unless you're saying I can read your mind. Is that what you're saying, Mr. Clairvoyant?
I'm saying the arguments are dishonest.
Right. Let's try it differently. Let's throw a hypothetical out there for somebody, right, that genuinely does not know. They haven't come to a conclusion on anything. They just know what they've been told, right? And they see this method, the scientific method. And they're like, well, okay, I'm going to use this method to determine what's going on in reality. What would you say to them? How would you respond to that?
I would say that just talking about it doesn't really accomplish much.
So nothing.
Say
you wouldn't say anything. You would just tell him, "I'm not
Dude,
going to
he
talk
can't
about it with you
engage,
because it's not
dude.
going to accomplish anything." All right, good.
He
Thanks for that.
can't engage in good faith
this
at
guy
all.
this guy's here to like chat or something. I don't know what he's doing here,
holy
but
cow,
it's not.
man.
Can we, if we're gonna debate, can we at least get like a good Glober here or something? Like, if it's gonna be total audio chaos, can we at least make it worth it?
Get your game up, Red. Come on, Red.
Flat Earth has nothing. We've learned. I've learned so much in the last 10 years.
Dude.
And
This is ad hominem.
when I ask flat earthers about concepts and stuff that they say they believe in, they don't know anything.
Okay, thanks for the huge ad hom. Mr. Christian just thinks it's okay to go around insulting people based on their beliefs.
I think you're lying.
Okay, I'm saying you claim to be a Christian and then you go around insulting people for their belief systems, which is directly against. Yeah, you are.
You're observing that you're dishonest in your arguments.
Bro, you called me a liar.
That's impossible. If I am postponing judgment on the argument, if I'm saying, hey, I don't know what it is, but I don't think it's a globe of 3959-mile radius, and the reason for that is because every argument that's given for that globe is affirming the consequent, and then you have no rebuttal. All you say is, oh, flat earthers are just so stupid and I'm learning so much and I am so cool and you're just not. Like, dude, what is that?
You're misusing affirming the consequent.
Yeah. The other thing is that you don't apply those principles evenly. You apply them only to the globe because you have no principles for flat Earth.
Dude, how do you not get what postponing judgment means?
I told you he was agnostic. You're not listening to the convo at all.
I am listening to
it is affirming the consequent.
It is at this point so dishonest and sickening.
Affirming, bro, don't overtalk me, dude.
Okay, so
stop. I'm in the middle of a sentence, man. This is not your cue to go. Why would this be your cue to go when I'm in the middle of a sentence?
So, British guy.
It doesn't make any sense. That literally makes no sense. My man, just let me finish.
Stop being dishonest.
So, British guy, what are you claiming?
Dude, you gotta be kidding me, dude.
Bro. He's new. Hypnotoad's new. He's a better Glober than Red Cloud. He's new, though.
Yeah, but he doesn't know how to have decorum.
No, I'm just want to finish the thing. You know what? I don't even remember what I was saying anymore. Go ahead, everyone. Everyone, take this over. Take this over.
I mean, I was just asking the question of
when you have to ask a question, bro.
I don't remember. I literally don't remember. I don't remember.
Hypnotoad his name is everyone, Elbow. Not you are not everyone. I'm not everyone.
Just call me Hypnotoad. I'll change my nickname when I get a second when they wants to cooperate
for a little bit.
No, his name is everyone, and Jeremy addressed him. I'm saying his name is literally everyone. That's his name.
And I told you what you can call me because right now I'm.
What do we call you?
Yap is.
What do we call? What do we
call you?
I
just told you.
I didn't hear it. It was audio chaos. What do we call you?
Hypnotoad.
Hypnotoad? No, we don't call anyone anything with tard at the end. No, you got to think of
Toad. He said it's Toad.
Yeah,
Toad.
Did you not hear me correctly?
He said it was. He's a retoad.
It's from
That's not what I. That's not what I said.
Just kidding.
That is funny though. Come on, that is funny though. You gotta give it to him.
No, it's not funny. That's being insulting. That's not funny.
Go ahead, Toad. It was a joke. Go ahead, Toad.
It's insulting that you interrupt somebody in the middle of a sentence.
Yeah, how dare you?
Oh, it's frog on frog violence.
All right, just go ahead, Retoad. It's okay.
All right, Tor, don't. Just go ahead, everyone, Toad.
I'm sorry. No.
I'm not going to answer to you calling me retard or tard.
Toad. You missed the Toad part.
No, I've been saying Toad. I'm not using the hard R. I would never use the hard R.
You were name calling me.
Toad, what were you going to say to the British guy? What were you going to say to the
Brit? So, exactly what are you claiming the guy's argument is? The guy you're debating. What is your claim there?
Who's the question to debate?
Say it in your own words.
He told me he was agnostic. He doesn't even have an argument. We're talking about your guys' argument with this Foucault pendulum thing. He's not following the convo at all. It's a mess.
I wasn't talking to you. I was talking to the British guy.
Oh yeah, mate. Yeah. I was just saying that I'm agnostic when it comes to the shape of the Earth. I don't even make a claim, but I do say that it's impossible for it to be a sphere with 3959.
You're Australian.
He didn't know though. He didn't know.
You heard
Bro, you went Australian.
You
All
got to
right,
do
go ahead,
Dick Van
British guy.
Dyke for Mary Poppins. Just do Dick Van Dyke for Mary Poppins. You'll have it.
British guy, red tape. Answer Toad's question.
I don't even know what his question was.
Jeremy, you were saying that it's affirming the
Hold
consequence.
on, man.
All
He
right.
asked you. Toad asked you what is Torah's argument?
The argument is, as far as I can see it, and you can yell at me all you like, but
I'm about to. Go ahead.
But if you have an experiment or an observation and it matches the globe, then there's something wrong with it and it must be discarded. That's what it seems like, because every time we come up with examples of evidence, for example, of the Earth rotating, we use full-cut pendulums, we use star trails, we use whatever it is. There's something faulty with all of those. There's something faulty with all of those.
No, you got it so backwards. You guys just don't like being critiqued. That's all.
There's no critique. There's no
That's
critique.
not Torah's
We're simply
argument.
saying-
Torah is telling you that there's a problem with your argument.
Yes, and every argument.
His argument is that a problem.
The globe.
His
So he's
argument is
not
that there's a
agnostic
problem
because he doesn't apply
That's
the
because
same
all you
rules
guys
to
have
flat
is
Earth.
affirmative. Oh God.
Well, you
One
got to
day
hear what
I
I'm
will
saying.
be able to finish
You
the
try.
whole
You,
sentence one day.
I got asked what I was saying, and here's what I'm saying. He's basically using very intense scientific, scientifically looking at whatever the evidence is for the globe, but he's not applying the same rules to flat Earth, because if he applied the same rules to flat Earth, it wouldn't go well for him. So he doesn't do that. He applies only those rules to the globe, which makes it a dishonest argument and makes him not agnostic towards the shape of the Earth. That's
He already told you he was agnostic, which I don't believe either. But nonetheless, we're critiquing the argument that Foucault pendulum is scientific evidence for a rotating Earth, and his argument was that it's affirming the consequent. That was Torah's argument.
Well, okay, so I've been to, there's a museum up here.
You have no rebuttal to it. You have no rebuttal. You're going to talk about some museum you went to as a child, bro. Who cares, dude?
No, I'm going to answer in a way I like. I don't care if you don't like it. So
let me explain it for Toad real quick. Toad wants to be in Red Cloud. Toad wants to be in this conversation. You're
give me 1 second. Give me 10 seconds.
Well, no, that was I was just listening to you guys for the longest time, and then I just had a little something to say. They're trying to get him to clarify exactly what he's talking about.
Like Toad, what's a good example of the flat Earth, quote unquote, affirming the consequent? What do you think is a good example, Toad?
I don't really know.
They don't apply it to flat Earth. That's the point.
I have tons of them that.
That's why I'm agnostic.
I know one, like Cold Moonlight. Cold Moonlight, that's a good one.
Always apply them to flat Earth. I don't know.
Okay, I thought of one. There's Cold Moonlight.
It's just not even true what he said. Hold on, man. Can you guys hear me?
No.
Robot Jeremy.
Hold on, man. That's not even true. That's not even true what Red Tape said. Whatever his name is, the British guy. I apply them all the time to flat Earth. You're just talking shit like it's worthless to talk to you. It's just frustrating. Like you're just making people mad because you're getting everything wrong and saying all kinds of ridiculous stuff. Like it literally sucks to talk to you.
I would have to agree with that. Like this kind of back and forth. This isn't constructive. This isn't fun. It's just, yeah.
It is more fun
Red
to talk
Cloud,
in circles.
you're the cause of bicker.
Yeah, he's not addressing Red Cloud's not addressing any of the actual things. He's just going off on other stuff. Saying stuff about us. Like it's literally nothing. You don't have anything. Can you say something with substance that matters to the conversation?
I just explained. I'll do it for the third time to annoy you even more. That if you gather
you
evidence,
lied. You said we don't apply it at all, and we do. I do all the time. So that was just a lie.
You wouldn't even be flat. If you did,
I do it all the time. I shut these guys down all the time. I shut these guys down.
Then why are you a flat earther?
When did he say he's a flat earther?
I am. Because every measurement of level that exists.
I know the crud out of you.
I'll tell you why. I am, and I'll tell you why. If you want to hear it or no, you're just here to cause chaos and try to start a bicker fest. Like, I don't know why you're here, bro, but whatever it is that you do when you do this, it sucks.
I won't do it. I promise. Go ahead, Jamie. I'm listening.
I am a flat earther, and the reason why is every measurement of level every actual measurement of level is horizontal, and for various other reasons, for stuff like this, where people say they have science for something, but then it turns out they actually don't have it. What they have is a fallacy.
On MC Tune's Discord server, people tried to school Bev on this constantly, and he just never got it.
Bev's a fucking beast, dude. You can't school Bev on geometry.
Yeah,
I mean, we tried constantly. Like every time we made a good point, like Bev just didn't really.
We did the same thing with McToon over here, but he just didn't get it. Like, you see what that means? Nothing.
Like what happens with I mean, listen, what happens a lot with the whole level and horizontal and vertical thing is that you go to we want to go show it in reality, right? And that's why I like Bev's arguments, and that's why he kills it, because he goes to reality. And people, other people, not McToon specifically, but other people, they go to a model and they say, well, this is what would happen if reality was this model. And when you have reality on your side, the model needs to conform to reality, not the other way
Bev's
around.
not here. Bev's not here. If you ever see him in here someday, you can address him on that. But I don't have anything to do with Bev. So,
like, Bev has blocked me on Discord, like in MC Tune server. Not sure why.
Like, nobody really cares about Bev. Honestly, he's on some weird.
I mean, we were just talking about Bev earlier, so yeah.
Not your opinion. Yeah,
Bev is known in this community for thinking horizontal equals level.
Well,
but yeah,
the only measurements of level, the only actual measurements of level that we have are of them being horizontal. You don't have any actual measurements of level curving.
Yeah, you were saying, Toad, that
level conforms to the globe, though.
That's you got model affliction, man.
That's just you saying stuff, though. That's not. Do you have any measurements? An actual measurement, not like a we think light is bending this way measurement, like an actual solid measurement.
You do realize when you say that you have horizontals that have to curve, right, in your model. Like, you can't use a level line more than one point as a line. So we're not so we're clear on the definitions of a line. It's more than one point. It's not just a point. And once you extend that line and it's not curving, it means it's horizontal. You can't make it bend around a sphere. So when you say level is curving, you're contradicting
man, but
yourself.
hold on a second, bro. I laid that whole thing out, and now I don't know where we're at. Do you have any measurement and a real measurement of level curving?
How about this? This is a empirical verified fact. If someone's designing a bridge over a long enough span, it has to conform to the globe. The Earth's curvature has to be taken into account. It has to be taken into account.
Christ.
So,
do you have a measurement of level curving or no? Yes or no?
I mean, you basically can with. You can basically.
Do you have one? I know you could.
You can basically conclude that it does. That's the only
yes
real
or
thing
no?
I can. That's the only answer I can give you, is it can be inferred.
Yes or no? Do you have a measurement of level curving?
I just answered you.
No, this is a yes or no question. You either do have it or you don't. Do you have a measurement of level curving? Yes or no?
Me personally, no. But does it exist? Yes.
Anyone ever? Go find it. If you think it exists, go find it.
I've explained,
and
that is what I was trying to explain. Is a way that it's been verified.
Yeah, level would have to curve if you live on a globe.
Bridges,
you have any evidence?
Level curving.
Yeah,
where is the actual measurement of level curving?
Exactly.
A bridge is a measurement?
Exactly.
We use measurements all the time in the construction of them.
A bridge would not have to. A bridge would not have to do that.
Then this should be easy.
Yes, it would, because because of the
all
Earth.
The time. Now he's answering you now. All right, I'll back out. Go ahead, guys.
No, I would just want to say one thing, right?
You guys got this.
You can definitely measure, level curving. All right, fuck it. Say I agree with you. Let's go do it. How are we going to do it?
I don't know. It's impossible, dude. Oh.
Yeah. Yeah, you
we
believe it's been
look at a
done.
bridge. We look at a structure that is, or like build a tower.
Why don't we get a water level out?
There's real quick. There's just no reason that a bridge would have to conform a curve. That doesn't make any
Yes, it does. Yes, it does.
Let me just explain to you real quick, right? Real quick. I have a piece of wood. I want to hop over a creek. There's no reason that I need to make sure that the wood conforms to anything. I just want to lay it down and hop over and walk across it over the creek. It doesn't make any sense to say that
the bridge has to be at a certain length.
It doesn't make any sense to say the bridge would have to conform to the earth when you're trying to get over the water. It doesn't make any sense.
The bridge has to be pretty. It has to be a pretty long bridge to where they have to take it into account. I was debating a flat earther. I was debating one flat earther, and he said no, it doesn't. And then I showed him multiple instances where, like,
what are you taking into account?
Civil engineer said was showing the math on exactly.
Are you red tapes like Stronger talking, brother? What's going on? Do you hear everybody talking or no?
I do. I'm trying to look it up here.
Dude, check it out.
It would have to conform to the curvature or something, right? The curvature of what, dude? And what would have to conform
of the Earth, of the globe?
All right. So ready. So curvature of what? Be specific, right? And then what is it that would have to conform to what? Like the two things. What would they be?
All right. If a bridge is going to be at a rather distant length, at some point it's going to have the curvature of the Earth is going to have to be taken into account in its construction.
No, you can't keep saying the curvature of the Earth. I'm asking you, what is that? Like, what is it?
Because the Earth is a globe. If you you try to see something in a far enough distance, the Earth is going to obscure it.
It's only 1 degree per every 69 miles, you said. Why would anyone have to care about 1 degree over 69 miles? That makes no sense.
Because...
What do you think is a 69 mile long
all a bridge has to do is connect one side to the other side. It can be a fucking roller coaster. It doesn't have to be anything. It just has to make sure you can get your car from one side to the other. It doesn't have to conform to anything, bro. It can be ups, downs, it can go sideways. As long as the two sides connect, it's a bridge.
All right, I'm going to have to look it up exactly because, like, I can't explain it clearly enough to you guys.
Well, that's part of the disease, man. That's part of it. Like, like people get caught with the globe disease, and then they say, well, the curvature. And I ask them, well, what is that? Like, they say, well, the curvature of the Earth. And I ask them, well, what is it exactly that's curving? And they're just like, the Earth, the curvature. It's like, you got to think, right? Like, could it be a disease that's making you repeat this thing that when I ask you, what is it? You can't use any other words to define it.
No, the problem is on your part. I've tried to explain it, and you're just dismissing it repeatedly. So it's your problem, not mine.
You're saying the same thing over and over to him is what he's saying. That's like the part that seems like the disease. He says, what is the Earth curvature? You say, it's just like the Earth's a globe. It's curving. And then he's like, yeah, but what is it? What is it? And you're like, dude, Earth's a globe.
Okay, it's because he doesn't understand what the meaning of the word curvature is.
Yeah, what's curving?
Do you agree a spirit level then, a spirit level is curved then, because we reference it and we call it level? So then that's obviously curving, right? Level is curving.
Over a far enough, over a short distance, no. But if the distance is far enough, then yeah, it would.
So it doesn't scale. So you're saying you can scale up perfectly horizontal into a curve. Okay, so then it is curving on a small scale, right? Because it's curving on the large scale. It's not like you could eliminate curve when you scale things.
Because something can be horizontal to a large degree, but then it'll eventually be impractical because of the Earth. You can just get a long.
You ever use a water level?
But then it'll just balance it on the Earth, but eventually it'll be like a mile above everyone's heads.
You ever use a water level? You know what that tool is? Like a siphon? Ever use a siphon?
I'm typing right now.
Have you ever used a siphon or a water level?
Is this guy new? Because holy shit.
Yeah, leave him alone, douchebag.
He's good, dude. He's a nice guy, man. Stop. Just want to know if he's used a water level.
Did we get any closure on did we get any closure on the Foucault pendulum, or is that still like up in the air? People don't know it's affirming the consequent, or they still think it's some kind of scientific evidence of the rotation?
Consequence.
So no closure. Then.
Yeah, we should get back to
up in the
that.
air.
Yeah,
Okay.
We need the closure.
That's the closure.
We need the closure for that one for
If you put
sure.
a
It's affirming the consequence.
I can give it closure. I can give it closure. If you have the Foucault pendulum and you put it on a little merry-go-round and you swing the Foucault, you don't spin the merry-go-round. You get the Foucault pendulum, bring it back and forth, it goes back and forth. Then you swing it at 5 miles an hour, starts processing a little bit, and you start processing more. And you systematically manipulate the independent variable. That's where
Blues, Jason.
Somebody respond to that like they heard him.
Yeah, what happened? He just got kicked out of the room. He must have been booted.
Put him in the hot mic room.
What about putting a Foucault pendulum on Earth at different latitudes?
What about it?
What about trying
this again?
That would be called habitual correlation. That would be called habitual correlation. What part of the scientific method says you could habitually correlate things and then come to a conclusion on it? Where is that in the scientific method?
Well, because if you
I've got a great one.
Okay,
cool. So you accept habitual correlations?
No, I don't accept your premise that everything is just a logical fallacy. If you put a pendulum at different latitudes, you'll get different results, and they will correlate with where you are on the Earth.
Okay, does correlation equal causation?
So, but that's
just
a fallacy.
Hold on. Don't walk past it. Don't go running away from your assertion. Do you think correlation
I'm not running away.
Causation?
That is a fact.
You talk through me. I'm going to ask again. Do you think correlation equals causation?
I think that if you put a pendulum and swing it a certain direction at different latitudes, it will conform with the concept of a rotating body the size of the Earth. And if you come up with another way
would you like to answer my actual question?
Well, I'm answering your actual question. Because you're looking for a fallacy, you're looking for...
So when you say something, I respond to that. I expect you to respond to what I said, not just repeat what I responded to.
Well, I can respond by saying that is irrelevant. What you just said is irrelevant. The evidence is what
not at all, because you said I drew a correlation. Okay, well, let's talk about that correlation. Do you think that correlation equals causation?
In this instance, if you have enough evidence, then it strongly could support that.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, not completely, obviously.
There you go. There's your standard.
It doesn't exist. It doesn't exist on its own. It's with a broader body of evidence.
I 100% reject your standard of correlation equals causation.
That is why you don't know where you live. That is why you can't confirm.
I do know where I live. I know my address. I know my house. I know what color it is. I know how big my driveway is. How many cars I could put in it. I know, when to cut my grass. I know all kinds of things about
all things. Put more cars in your driveway than you think you can.
But you know what I don't think? I don't think because I went to sleep last night, that caused my grass to grow. So therefore, I have to cut it. That's not what I think.
Okay,
that correlation.
Me
going to sleep does not mean my grass grew.
That's ridiculous.
That's not a causation.
They would accept that, right? Dude. They'll accept that argument. I bet if you push hard enough.
No, because that would be stupid.
They will. You don't think the cause of grass growing is someone going to sleep and time passing?
No, because that's stupid.
Oh, so you don't think time passing causes grass to grow?
No, I think the analogy is stupid, and I think the
okay. So what causes grass to grow then?
Simple
If it's
matter
not
of gathering
time
evidence for which flat Earth has no
Well,
concept.
you could believe whatever you want. I have my correlation, and I'm just gonna go on believing that when I go to sleep, that's why my grass grows. Okay. And
All
you
right,
can't
and
prove me
Santa
wrong.
Claus.
And I'm gonna do the same thing with the pendulum. I'm gonna say because I put it here, that means the Earth's spinning.
Well, you can gather.
I'm gonna use your logic on everything, and I'm gonna be a fucking hot mess.
You could
But
gather
we'll be buddies,
a lot more
bro.
evidence
We'll
than that.
agree on everything.
Well, what you could do is you could start there. You could start with that. You could decide. I mean, pure Rigor could wake up tomorrow morning and his grass is, a quarter of an inch tall or whatever, and he can wake up and say to himself, you know what? Tomorrow I'm going to find out how I can build my very own full cut pendulum, and I'm going to see if it really does work the way that they say it works. And if it doesn't, then you can come back in here and say, hey,
Dude,
Rex,
it really, nobody is arguing that the Foucault pendulum doesn't work the way that people say it works, bro. The argument is that it's an affirming the consequent. If the Earth is a globe if the Earth is a globe that spins, then the pendulum will persist at these specific rates at different latitudes.
That's been argued for years.
The pendulum does persist at these. Dude, why can you what's wrong with you?
Because you do run on sentences instead of getting to the point.
An argument if P then Q and P therefore Q is a run-on sentence. Dude, are you kidding me, bro?
So,
well, you could say whatever you want, Red Cloud, right?
Yeah.
You could put any evidence you want out. I don't care because when I go to sleep, I wake up, my grass is taller. Okay.
You don't.
So, I'm gonna need a few minutes. I'm just stuck on a brake job right now. But yes, Phinky, I will look at it. Thank you. I do appreciate it.
Okay, back to the water falling on the rock.
I mean, we're done with that. I'm talking about something else now. We're talking about gravity now. How gravity is what makes the water on the Earth conform to the Earth shape and establishes all the continents.
Well,
and
some
islands,
people here don't
the
believe in
land
gravity,
masses.
so you can use downity. You can use downity as an alternate.
We can use gravity.
What is this downity you speak of?
He's not with
Gravity
us.
is mass attracting mass.
Oh God! See what you did, Phinky?
I am with you.
That's not gravity. Is not mass attracting mass. Gravity is things falling down at 9.8 meters per second squared as an average. That's what gravity is.
No, that's not. No, gravity is mass attracting mass. What you described is the rate of falling. There's a term for it. I don't exactly remember what it is, but no, that's not gravity.
That's little
gravity
g.
Is the force. Gravity is the force. What you described as acceleration.
There is no force, my man. You're
Jeremy,
not up to speed.
I'll accept your definition of gravity.
Hold on,
mass
you like
is
that,
attracting,
Phinky?
Mass attracts mass.
Yo,
that
my
is,
man,
that's
my man. Hold on
a
second, bro. Hold on, I'm getting next. You're not up to speed on your current science, pseudoscience, and your version
gravity
of gravity
is science.
Yeah, I know, but in your version of gravity with Einstein, you go by Einstein, right? That's not a force anymore. There is no force.
It hasn't been a mass attracting mass since 1915.
Yeah, there's no force there in your current mainstream model of gravity. So,
and if you can claim that gravity is science, can you give us a viable hypothesis?
100 years ago. Hold on, my man. Ancient traveler. Hold on a second. That happened like 100 years ago when they didn't measure the orbit of Earth in Michelson-Morley. And Einstein had to come out with some wild-ass theories, So that's when it happened, like 100 years ago.
Lorentz did first, but then Einstein. Yeah.
Theories that have since been proven about gravity, like how we use it to measure
to have a theory, it had to have gone through experimentation. What experiments have you done with gravity, or has anyone done with gravity?
Okay, I just listed some, like with measuring the orbit, measuring orbits. For example, the Pluto was discovered, quote unquote, before it was even actually sighted, because of the orbits of all the other planets were a little off.
No, that's not
so
Pluto.
Whoever it was, the astronomer theorized that there's another planet detect yet.
Hold on, man. Yo, there's
that
so many
was
people
Neptune.
talking. First of all, they can't even measure an orbit in the current
yes, they can,
understanding
and we
of gravity.
We do it. It's done all the time.
No, you literally can't.
We can measure
Pinky, tell 'em why
precisely that is why we can measure precisely
tell 'em
when
why
we
they
can see
can't.
Mars in the
Oh,
sky and photograph
Pinky,
it. That's why we can
Pinky,
detect it.
Pinky,
We
tell them
can
why they can't
calculate
measure in
these
orbit.
things.
Hold on, man. You were definitely done, bro. Pinky, tell them why they can't measure in orbit.
No, I can't help him out on that one.
Help him. Help your boy. You don't want to help him?
Probably because they have to account for refraction.
All right,
no, that's not why.
Refraction has nothing to do with it. There's no refraction in space.
You can't measure in orbit. Don't respond to that, bro. That was a worthless comment by Pinky. The reason why they can't measure in orbit is because they tried to do it in Michelson-Morley. They couldn't do it because space-time is bending and you have the Lorentz contraction. So it's not even possible to measure in orbit. In your model, of course.
Okay, and that is why we can predict exactly when eclipses can happen, down to the minute, down to the square mile. And that is why we can predict exactly when Mars is going to appear in the night sky. We can see Jupiter with telescopes, all of that. Yeah, thank you very much for strawmanning me.
Yeah, but you can't.
You can't measure it. You can't measure it, though.
Okay, what did I literally just say?
You guys, I'll back up. You guys can get in. Go ahead.
Yeah, can I point out to Rob? It was a 5 millimeter precision on one. I think it was the vertical axis. The paper he posted some really small numbers to try and mislead you, but the actual document is calling for 5 millimeter precision.
Okay,
which is around a quarter of an inch.
It's
around a quarter of an inch.
Okay, hold on. What I posted was 0. Yeah, thank you. Whoever said that.
I'll look at it. Don't worry, Phinky. I got you.
Okay. But Rigor, for some reason, has started this thing where he just says I lie and make stuff up. I don't get it. If you just read at 3:54 Mountain Standard Time, I said this amounts to 0.75 millimeters per kilometer. So you can look at how long LIGO was. You can do the math to figure out if that's close to 5 millimeters.
Yeah, the alignment precision was 5 millimeters.
Yep.
So you could go 4 kilometer path where that was out 20 centimeters, and it doesn't approach the alignment precision of 5 millimeter, determined from the GPS alignment. So make of that what you will. You're claiming way tighter fucking tolerances. Because I already know when they were building that, the numbers you posted, impossible to hit.
But you just literally recited the numbers that I posted.
No, I didn't.
You did. You said 5 millimeters.
Yeah.
It sounds to me like you restated it and then said, no, that's not possible, even though, it's...
Who was talking to you? Sorry?
Even though it's the measurement that, was posted.
Okay, where's the 5 millimeters in that link you posted? Because I'm going to repost what you posted.
Well,
and tell me where it says 5 millimeters in this.
It doesn't. You have to convert. Look,
it doesn't. So I'm not just restating the shit you posted. I actually went into the PDF and pulled up the actual precision level.
Okay, so it needs you have to do a little math.
And it matches what I said.
Oh, so you were full of shit too. You were just fucking.
Here's the thing. How do you think? Let me ask you this. How did they get to 5 millimeter? How did they get to 5 millimeters?
That's a bad look.
No, how did they get to 5 millimeters? They took the actual GPS error rates, which you can look. I posted it at 3:52 Mountain Standard Time. Right, and you notice there's no millimeter per kilometer because the tool uses angles. So you have to convert angles into millimeters or millimeters per kilometer. That's how they got it. That's how I got it. That's how you got it. There's no lie. You're trying to, I don't know what you're trying to do.
No, I said it's misleading. The shit you posted is extremely misleading.
Why? What should I have said? 5 millimeters instead of millimeters
just put what
per kilometer?
Put. Yeah, you could just put what their precision level was. They were aiming for the 5
Okay, so in other words, you don't know how to. You're refusing to do math.
Todd, let me answer.
Hold on. 5 millimeters. It would have been on the horizontal. It would have been 5 millimeters, and the vertical's looking like, I don't know, a centimeter or maybe a little more from what the paper's saying.
Rob asked me, what is the precision of the equipment? So why would I give him the precision of the equipment on a specific job? I gave a precision of equipment as a function of error over distance. So it's an answer to the question. I don't know. You just decided that other number is what was the better number, and that I didn't give that. So it's like some dishonest thing. You're just making.
Yeah, because it sounded like you were framing it saying like this was the precision that this instrument obtained.
It is
I just
for
want-
this
I just
project.
wanted to point out
No,
that
it's not. Like
this
it
whole
can't
horizontal
make that
rating-
precision.
that's
If it's out,
horizontal,
if that's
it also has an error.
yeah, the tolerance levels were. It seems to be over a centimeter in the vertical and around 5 millimeter in the horizontal.
Okay, so what is that per kilometer? What's the 5 millimeters per kilometer?
Well, that's what you're out.
Yeah, so what is it? What's 5 millimeters per kilometer?
I'm not doing that math right now.
Okay, you're gonna find it's pretty much exactly what I posted. It is off.
So Phinky wins.
I wasn't
doesn't
trying
want
to
to do
win.
the
I was
math,
just answering
you
your
win.
question, but Rigor had to turn it into some weird thing.
It wasn't about winning. I just wanted to make sure you understood.
Yeah, I didn't take it that way anyway. I just I made a claim. I like to back up my claim. I don't like being called dishonest when I just present the evidence, but it happens.
It'd be over 4 kilometers.
You presented the evidence, and then all he said was,
"Shut the fuck up
no,
with your meta." What is the point of the 1 kilometer?
No, I'm not going to shut up. I don't think I will.
What kind of point are you trying to bring home with that 1 kilometer thing?
Per kilometer?
Yeah. What is that point? Because I don't think you read the paper. If that's the conclusion you're coming to, where you think this 5 millimeter was per kilometer, that's
it
just
wasn't
wrong.
per kilometer.
No, I posted it's 4 kilometers. The overall project, they're looking for a 5 millimeter tolerance.
Over 4
kilometers.
Why
are you asking me what is 5 millimeters over a kilometer when it's irrelevant? When the overall tolerance level of the project was 5 millimeters over 4 kilometers, which is the length of the project.
So what's the accuracy of the equipment then?
So a complete fucking non sequitur where you think was a gotcha. And your dumbass cheerleader friend thought so too. Because he's not keeping up. That's for damn sure.
Okay. You won that
one.
Okay,
first of all, he's not my friend. 2, that's an ad hominem.
Right. How dare you?
Third, you shut the hell up.
Put the pom-poms down and calm
your
tits.
You shut the hell up.
Guys, let's all relax.
Okay, actually, no. Let's get back. Let's get back to talking about
my man. I'm moderating, guy.
It's based on some knowledge of celestial mechanics, how the planets, moons, and other heavenly bodies move through space. Solar eclipses due to the precise alignment. They don't happen every month because the astronomers use mathematical models that account for orbits of Earth and Moon, their inclinations, their elliptical paths to predict precisely when these alignments will occur. To understand the different phenomenon, excuse a guide on solar eclipses.
Based on what data? From habitual observations.
Solar cycle, period of approximately 18 years after one, they're going to be close to the same positions, making it possible to predict. This ancient method is essential. Orbital dynamics. Astronomers use highly detailed models of the Earth's orbit around the Earth and Earth's orbit around the Sun. These models consider factors like the moon's tilt and orbit's elliptical. Yes, they do. It's what it's what the source says they use. You're saying they don't work. You're an absolute moron.
It's called the end body problem.
If you say if you're saying that what the astronomers literally do does not work, you are an absolute moron.
Yes. Are you familiar with the end body problem? Because you said the model works. Okay, the model is a bunch of balls spinning around each other. Okay, where's that model?
It says they use.
You're gonna be like, oh shit, I got a 3-body
okay.
problem. Then you're gonna look further. You're gonna be like, oh fuck, it's actually an end body problem. Now what the fuck do I do with this? Shit,
okay,
this doesn't work. I gotta throw Newton completely out the window now.
Okay,
Newton
that is beyond the scope of this conversation.
Now I gotta go to relativity.
That is beyond the scope of this conversation.
Yeah,
just like you and your whole nothing is moving crap.
You said I have a model of all
you're
the balls up there.
strawmanning now. I'm trying to explain it, and you're losing. So now you're resorting to strawmans as you always do.
You claimed the model of all the balls up there, right? You said we have a
highly
predictive
detailed models. I'm going to guess it's all CGI.
You have a predictive model, okay? In that predictive model, you also have an end body problem that has not been solved. That will never be
okay, and that is irrelevant to this discussion of how they're predicted, how they are predicted.
Wrong.
That is irrelevant to this conversation.
It's
for
not
solar
relevant.
eclipse. Astronomers can use
the
shut up and listen
of your model. You say I have a model, and I'm pointing out where your model's broken, and you're like, that's irrelevant.
Okay.